Friends, fans, and fine folk, grab your drinks and snacks and come on down to the campfire for this short rest with me and my friend Kelly from Dork Tales! Hello, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. So it's great to have you here. It looks like the audio is actually working for us, which is always a plus.
What?
Yeah, the tech
Feels
gremlins
illegal.
are on our side today. Maybe people were using the channel point redemptions to mollify the tech gremlins. Oh yeah, CTM Madrid's done the same.
Yeah,
So
it
you've
looks like
mollified the
someone
tech.
actually
Thank
just
you.
did.
You've mollified them well enough that they are, at least for now, paying attention and allowing us to speak. How you doing, Kelly? Good to see you. I love that background, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. No, this is just, a little cozy hobbit hole that I'm living in right now. It's not a green screen at all.
Not a green screen, just a very,
I'm
very slow flickering fire. It looks
just a
like it's
slow
stationary.
flickering. Yeah, it's it's a moment of time, really.
You've cast
I'm
time
doing well.
stop.
I have cast time stop because it's hard being a tabletop creator. Like you gotta really manage
Yeah.
your time well. I'm good. It is Friday morning for me, and it's Saturday morning for you. So that's cool.
Yeah,
It's
time
it's so
traveling.
weird. Like, how's tomorrow working so far? Is it good for you?
It's not bad. Yeah, tomorrow's all right. It looks like it's fine. I
Okay, still,
genuinely have seen
it still
people
counts.
so confused about the time zones before that there was the there, there was, I think it became somewhat of an internet meme for a while in like the early 2000s when people were so confused about this internet thing that somebody had posted, I think maybe to Facebook, because that was probably the platform that in use at the time. It was a screenshot of somebody posting, I've just found out that Australia and New Zealand are like a day ahead of us. It was an American. And they're like, why didn't they warn us about 9/11?
Oh my God. Yeah, I've seen that post. I've seen that post.
genuinely,
Oh,
genuinely believing, yes,
and it's like,
we're a day ahead. We're not time travelers. We're still living
oh
in the
God,
present moment. It's just that our present moment is over the date line.
it's just one Aussie named Bruce who's just like, I just thought it would be fun.
I just thought, yeah, I couldn't. The fun thing is about the internet, especially those early days, is that you'd get people just with the dry sense of humor just replying, and there's no
Yep,
way of
yep,
telling that they're telling the joke because they're dry humor anyway, and then you lose all of
yeah.
any sort of like nudge nudge wink
Oh,
wink
yeah.
kind of, and so there's
It
just people
translates
replying
perfectly
being
over
like,
text.
oh, the time council say that we can't we're not allowed to tell you about the future and all this.
We're in
It's always
metric
very
time,
funny.
man. It's metric time. That's the difference.
we're using different time zones, different
You could
periods of
pass
time.
that. I grew up in the States, man. You could probably pass that by a lot of Americans. We'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like,
We use 100. There's 100 minutes to an hour and 10 hours to a day. And, yeah.
oh, yeah,
Anyway,
there's 10. I still get that. My mom's like, what's it like up there? I'm like, I don't know. It's like 0. Well, what's that in Fahrenheit? Like,
right.
0.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
isn't it the same?
No, the same. -40 is where it's like the exact
Oh, that's
same
right.
on both scales.
That's right. It's
And so
-40.
you don't need to worry about the
Yeah.
-40s both. And then there's an old riddle that was quite a fun one to get to catch people out on, where you say if you've got 2 glasses of water and one is at 10 degrees Celsius and one is at 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and you drop a penny into both of them, which will hit the bottom first.
Oh
And
yeah, of
people
course,
are
because
speculating one and the other, but 10 degrees Fahrenheit's frozen.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So for people who don't know you,
Yeah.
brief introduction to who you are.
So, hey everybody, I'm Kelly. I'm the host and main dungeon master, game master, storyteller, etc. over at Dork Tales. We are a tabletop actual play channel on Twitch, YouTube, podcast, and I'm sure other stuff. I think TikTok, as well as all the socials. We've been running since 2018, and we do all sorts of stuff from Dungeons and Dragons to World of Darkness stuff to a bunch of indie games we're really starting to get into, and we
Hell yeah.
run probably. We stream about 3 to 4 nights a week, and we run games between like 4 and on a crazy week about 6 nights a week. You can always find us either over on Twitch, YouTube, or Patreon. Yeah, I know. That's the problem with Patreon stretch goals for games. That people
Yeah.
fund them, and then you're like,
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah, I'm committed.
We've got a game of Storm King's Thunder tonight that's Patreon exclusive, and that's gonna be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's me. I'm an Aquarius. I'm an American expat living in the west coast of Canada because it rains a lot here, and I love the moodiness.
Ah,
And
nice.
Yeah, that's
We
that's
were
me. I probably
we were just
yeah.
talking about the fact that rain does not necessarily equate to bad weather, and a lot of people talk about the rain. Ah, it's bad weather today. It's like, well, not if you like rain.
I love rain so much. Like that's the Pacific Northwest won me over because it rains like in like the Vancouver, Seattle, Victoria triangle up here
Yeah.
about a third of the year, like just
Oh
every day.
wow.
And it's
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
it's
Scotland.
and if you like that moodiness, like and you don't
Mm.
get like seasonal affective disorder, like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
great.
Whereabouts were you? Whereabouts were you from in the States before moving to that area?
So I'm an army brat. I grew up in Europe and like along the east
Right.
coast of America. And then when I was like 10, my parents were like, we need to go home to the Midwest. So my parents are
Right.
originally from like Missouri and Kansas, and they decided to
Right.
settle in Missouri, which is a choice that I would not recommend for anyone. It's nice if you like a lot of woods and a lot of people with twang and a lot of fast food. But
Right.
when I went to university, I bounced out of the country because
Yeah.
Canada is, at least back then, it was about the same price to go to school in Canada that it was to go out of state in the U.S. So I was like,
Right.
hell, let's go somewhere
Might as
fun.
well. Yeah, might
Yeah,
as well.
and it kind of grew on me.
And how long you been in Canada now?
Oh god, like 20 years. Like
Yeah.
it's I came up here and I stayed up here, and now I'm a permanent resident. So I think I picked the right time to stay up here for no
Yeah.
reason in
Yeah.
particular. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
lovely weather.
Very much so. Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's
yeah, all
definitely
right, we'll
the
just leave it
weather.
at that.
Yeah. The
The
current
weather.
climate, let's say,
Yeah.
the current
Oh,
climate
it's
is much
great.
better.
You know what? It rains a lot. There's not much ice up here. So,
Are you Vancouver without doxing yourself entirely? Or are you just out of
so
Vancouver?
I'm in the Vancouver. I'm on Vancouver Island. So,
Oh, right.
which strangely doesn't have Vancouver on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
Vancouver
found that
Island
very
is
bizarre. It was very confusing when I travelled because I've been Vancouver and Victoria and Seattle. I did
nice.
that whole trip, and I went down the west coast to LA and then zigzagged across the states. But I kind of
Nice.
started in that area, started in Alberta, and then came across to the area. But I found when I was trying to plan things out, I had to be very careful whether I was putting Vancouver or Vancouver Island because I'd get very
I used
different
to be
results.
I used to do a lot of hospitality work, and when I was a concierge, I would have to like help people with reservations and things. They'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm flying into Victoria Island," and I'm like, "Please don't. That's in the Arctic Circle. You're going to have a bad time."
Man, and
Or
it would
people would be
happen
like,
too,
"Oh, I'm going to
because
take the bridge over."
I know some people who end up like a friend of mine when we went to PAX Australia end of last year. There's two different airports in Melbourne, and we were meant to be meeting at the airport and going to the Airbnb together, and then like the day before they went, oh, I've just realised I've booked for the wrong airport, so I'll be in a different. So yeah, I know some people who definitely would go, oh, Victoria Island, and end up completely
It's
different
absolutely true.
place.
When I was a teenager, I was dating somebody who lived on this coast, and they were flying in, and in the States, it's Springfield. There's a Springfield in every state, which is the Simpsons
Right?
joke.
Yeah.
I booked her into the wrong Springfield. Um, so that was because I sent her to like Nebraska, but we caught it just in time. But it was like, oh, man, a nightmare.
That's funny.
Easier
That is
now,
good.
but
Yeah. You
no,
got to keep a track of those things. Are you sure you're wanting to go to this place?
exactly. You don't
There'll
want to go to either Springfield.
there'll be sort of AI assistants at some point where it'll catch those things. You'll put it in and it'll be like, well, knowing all of this information that I've gathered on you and the data that I know from listening to you
Mhm.
and scraping all you seem to be conversing a lot with this man who lives in this area, and there's an airport near him that's called the same thing. Are you sure it's not this one that you want to
Are
go
you
to?
sure it's that? Do you want me just to take over the conversation from here on in? I'll be his friend.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
okay. I'll go back to watching. Go back to watching The Office.
I'm
Are you sure
I'm,
you watched it 3 times?
You've watched it. There's if you like Office, there's also this show that is little known but much acclaimed. Oh no, I want to watch what I know that I like. I'm an
Exactly.
expat as well. I've lived in New Zealand for 18 years now, and I recently just about a month. It was earlier this month, probably only about 3 weeks ago. I had the date where I celebrated the exact moment where I had lived in New Zealand for longer than I lived in the UK. So now I'm more Kiwi than I
Oh,
am more Kiwi than I am Brit now, I suppose.
Oh,
If that's how it
fantastic! Well,
works.
congratulations.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like I'm more Canadian than I am American at this point, and
Yeah.
that's odd. It feels
Yeah.
weird.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all of your most fun, because time isn't, the way that we perceive it isn't linear. So it's not like the
Oh, not
first
even a
10
little bit.
years are the same as the last 10 years of our lives. Like, no, it's so much longer because it's all of our
Oh
life
yeah.
at that point. Whereas the last 10 years of our life might be like a ninth of our life. And the first time it's
Yeah.
100% of our life. And so it's so much
100%.
longer. It's so much more formative. You're developing and everything. And so, yes, you might have only spent
Yeah.
5 years living in a place before you moved, but it's still such a huge part of who you are. I
Oh
still
yeah. That's why
the
I always
British
recommend
accent
going back
keeps
to
coming out
school.
when I'm angry
Does
or
it?
when I'm describing something. As soon as I land down in the UK to visit my brothers or something, immediately I'm starting talking like I'm right broad Yorkshire again, and all vocabulary changes.
Yeah. I feel you. It's the same thing whenever I'm back down around. I never had an accent, but all of my family in Kansas does have a bit of a twang.
Right.
So whenever I come back, I'm always occasionally on words. I got, I don't exactly know what I'm doing, but sometimes it just comes back with me.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
and it's like no, no. My partner
Have you
likes
picked
it, so that's
Have you
good.
picked up
You know,
Canadianisms? Have you do people back home tell you that you sound like you're Canadian?
they said yes. My uncle definitely does. He's like, you sound like you're from Canada now. You sound like either that or Californian. Because it's all the West Coast
Right.
inflections. Like some of
Right.
those have snuck in, like the long vowels and
Yeah.
I don't hear it, but probably. I haven't said a
So
boot yet.
you've not gotten to the about stage. Now it's always amusing to me when people say, "Oh, I don't have an accent," or I don't speak with an accent," and I always say, speaking without an accent is like saying I type without a font. You can't
I can see
you
that.
have like you can't speak without an accent. Like by definition, the words coming out of your mouth are being
Mm,
pronounced in a particular way. You are pronouncing
mm,
the vowels a particular way. You're choosing to either roll or not roll the r's. You're choosing
mm.
to hit the consonant. Whether the t is being made with the tip of the tongue or the blade of the tongue. These
Yeah,
all of these things are contributing to your accent. You have a dialect. You might not hear
what
it
is
because
your?
it's weak, but it's there.
That's fair.
You might just be
What's your
default
favorite
to like
accent to
Times New
use
Roman.
in? Yeah, it's fair. Do you have a favorite accent that you like to use for NPCs? You do a lot of like,
I do a lot
because
of
I
accent
remember
work. I
you.
do a lot of
Yeah, you
voices,
do a lot of accent work.
and
But like,
I'd say
what's your
that
favorite?
I tend to be strongest at Irish and Scottish, and then obviously a lot of different English types as well. But
Scottish is so much fun.
it is Scottish is a lot of fun to do. Yes, there's a lot of different types of Scotland. I'm not very good at differentiating the different regions of Scotland. I
I
can
mean,
just kind of do a
there's all
generic
sorts of Scottish
Scotland.
accents. I usually do like the Craig Ferguson from Edinburgh. I,
Hey, hey,
which sounds
and
good until you're in a game with a bunch of people from Scotland and you're like, oh god.
I'm like, okay, all right, we'll let it slide. Now, the way that I choose the accents of the NPCs tends to be because of what type of creature they are that they're talking to. So I'll base my fantasy languages on real life languages just for some consistency, so that then
Yeah,
I can go,
absolutely.
oh, an elvish town, what sort of a thing would that be called? How do I think of elvish? I'll put it into a translator and go, what's the Welsh word for whatever,
Yeah.
gold mine? And I go, cool, this is an
It,
elven mining town, so I'll say gold mine Llanthre. Oh yeah, Llanthre, and then I'll move some words around and I'll be like, yeah, cool, it sounds elvish to me. It's got some consistency. And that means
mhm.
whenever I'm doing elvish, my default is I'll go to Welsh. So my elves are Welsh,
That's
and my gnomes are
that's
Irish,
absolutely
and
true.
my dwarves are Scottish.
I do the same thing. I usually use I think it's impossible to not use kind of like either Welsh or Gaelic or something like that
Yeah,
for like the elves, right?
yeah,
Um
something that's
for
romantic and yeah,
I have a
a
running
little bit
joke that
hard
on my
to too
channel.
many too many consonants in it.
It's true. Too many apostrophes and like too many
Yeah.
extra letters. Um, on my channel, it's kind of a running joke that Infernal is French.
All right. Nice.
It's because I'm horrible at French, but
Yeah.
I think it's just hilarious to do that.
And there's a lot of rules
And
with French. A lot of rules, and there's stricter. There's an organisation that's actually for the continuation of French, isn't there? That chooses which words are technically official words and things and that. Sounds very
There
infernal.
definitely is in Canada for sure. It's really funny. So like Canadian French, I didn't know this before I moved here, but Canadian French is really guarded and really
Right.
archaic
Really
compared to like Parisian
interesting.
French. And so it's like if you're in Canada and you're like you want to go to a shopping mall, you go to like un centre de commercial or something like that.
Right, right,
And if you're in France, you go to un mall.
right.
It's like
right,
because they didn't want to
right,
like bring that word over, and
Interesting.
it's weird, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I for the whole rules thing, I've made my infernal based on Latin because I thought, oh, that makes a lot. Like there's so
that makes
many
sense.
rules and different conjugations, and so it's so
Mm,
difficult with all of the different words and the endings and stuff that it makes sense that it would be Latin-like in that you can easily trick somebody as a
mm,
devil by having a contract that's written in infernal, and even if they're good at infernal, there's a good chance that they go, oh, this means so and so and so and so, and it's like, well, no, actually, because
mm.
the syntax was the wrong, because they put this one
Oh,
before, it actually implies the other thing, and you've
that
changed,
was
and they've tricked you.
genitive.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, they've used it as the
Did you have to
gerund,
learn
and
Latin in
therefore.
school?
No, I didn't, thankfully. But
Mm,
I say thankfully, but actually, I think I would have. No, I wouldn't have enjoyed it at the time. I would have enjoyed it after the after the fact. I would have been
mm.
grateful to have been forced to do it a little more because I do have a fascination with language, and I have learned French and Spanish at different times, and I think that Latin would help with those things. I've also got a fascination
I
with like
bet.
etymology of English, and a lot of our words are from Latin, obviously.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to learn it for I have a classics degree and I had to do one term of it and it
Right.
was probably the hardest part of the degree because I'm not wired for learning new languages very easily. Like
Right.
I I learn far more from exposure rather than a book. So like if I went and
Right.
lived in Rome, like I could
Yeah.
probably learn
Yeah.
Italian. But,
Yeah. It's
but
hard to
yeah.
live in ancient Rome though. I found.
It's a little hard. It's yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't figured out how to do that one yet, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
As soon as you can do that, you can live in with exposure. Like exposure to the language is a huge thing though. Like I studied
Mhm.
French at high school for about 5 years, and
Mhm.
got conversational, got a C in my GCSE grade, and then
Mhm.
just didn't have any reason to use it for about 5 years. And then I went traveling to French Canada with my partner at the time, and just being around it, it was amazing how much stuff was coming back that I would have
And you
never thought
retained
that I
it.
remembered. Yeah, I didn't know
Oh,
that I
that's
had,
really
but
cool.
until I started walking into a shop going, oh, I think it's je prends, I'll take. Je prends une jambon sandwich. Not that they let you say anything because as soon as you start to stutter or start it, they go, it's okay, we can speak in English. And you're like, but give me a
Hey,
fucking second to try at least, mate.
hey, let me try. Oh man,
Let me.
it's the same in Germany or any
Right.
Scandinavian country where it's like it's fine. You tried. That's very good. That's very good. Let me speak better English than you. And like no.
Yeah, I know how to conjugate verbs in English that even you don't. So let me just talk in your language. Don't make me feel like an
Ex-
ignorant man. I always
Heck,
I
you know
always
what? You
try
are
to give
what
it a
you are.
go.
It's fine.
Yeah, hey,
Like
you said
oh
it.
no.
Germany's the
Oh
only
god.
place where they don't see me coming and immediately turn into English because I look German. I'm fucking blonde hair, blue eyed
I can see
Aryan,
that.
and so I'll
Yeah, I
walk
can see
down the
that.
street or
Especially with
into a shop
the
in Germany, and
that
they'll
beard
immediately,
as well. Like
yeah,
that's a good
yeah,
beard. You know, like
they'll immediately speak to me in German. I had one time when I was walking through a plaza, some guy beelined over for us and started just like rapping at me in German, and I was like, "The fuck is happening?" And after a while, I thought, "Oh, I think he's busking, or I think he's doing something here." But he was in such a flow that we like walked across the full side of this plaza, this square, and at the end, he kind of is giving this sort of attitude of, "Give me some money," and I said, that was beautiful, mate. I wish I understood any of it. And his face dropped and he went, oh, you're English. Uh, when you are coming to Germany, you are. And he's just like trying to rap in English at that point. I says, mate, I've really got to go. But like, good job, I guess. And he was so disappointed to
uh
have called it wrong.
oh man, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
it's makes it for a good story though.
Kelly, we're
Yeah,
having a short rest, which means that
we are.
by implication we must be on some kind of a mission to need a rest from the mission. What
Mhm.
what are we doing? Help me to DM in this
Man,
moment. Where are we resting
we
and what are we resting from?
we are resting in the Habernacle Inn, having just escaped a party of German buskers.
Nice. Yeah, they were. We thought they were
Girl,
bandits.
German busters.
We thought they were bandits. They were coming at us. They were very aggressive, or at least we thought they were aggressive. They were. It turns out they were just speaking very politely in German.
Yeah, they were bringing mixtapes at us. There was just, we all have fire damage from like they were real fire mixtapes.
Yeah, they were.
But like we
It
got
was,
we
they
got
were
some damage.
spitting bars. We got some bars. Maybe they were all bads, and we escaped. We got to the Habernacle Inn. We're having a short rest, recovering some hit points and whatnot. Do you like to have you got a go-to food and drink when you're playing a character that's in a short rest, or does it depend on what you're playing?
I think it really depends on what I'm playing. I run all the time, so like as
Mm.
far as like food, you can't eat while you're running. It doesn't work well. But like between scenes, I usually like I'll like cram a banana or something like that, something with like a
Uh-huh.
little bit of energy.
Yeah.
But like for beverage, I would say I've really fallen into like the Coke Zero wagon. Like
Oh yeah.
it's yeah, I don't know, man. Like but that's me being pretty basic right there. But
Hey, I mean,
or way too much
it's
coffee.
it's popular for a reason. Uh,
It is. It is.
Nothing wrong with
But yeah, no, I probably
the
have like
basic.
a massive coffee right now,
What
especially
about
because it's just noon now.
yeah? What about in game? Do your characters tend to go to a particular food and drink choice, or does that entirely depend on what you're playing at the time?
I think it definitely depends on what I'm playing right now. So for example, like tonight over on my channel, I'm playing a blood hunter who is basically like if you put uh, Wolverine in a blender with he's basically Wolverine actually.
With more
Just for
Wolverine.
a quick little touchstone. He's Wolverine and Geralt basically had a
Oh,
baby,
okay, yeah.
and I think it's like probably just eating the hearts of his enemies
Mm.
and drinking tequila. I think is a big thing for him, and smoking a stogie. Because you
I
can't
think it's
shed all
just
the Wolverine.
there's just a scene with just the rest of your party just sitting around like having drinks and laughs and just regular stew, and
Yeah,
they're just like, and then the waiter's like, "Is he okay?" And then it pulls back out to show that you're also at the table eating a
right.
heart and drinking from the skull of an. Yeah, don't worry
I
about
could
him. He's
I could use more chips and salsa.
don't worry about him. He can't turn it
Little,
off.
little, you can't. Oh
What
man.
are you playing that blood hunter in? What's the campaign?
So it's Storm King's Thunder. So it
Nice.
was my partner was running Panic at the Radiant Citadel, or pardon me, Journeys through the Radiant Citadel. Sorry, the game became named Panic because all of the characters, all of our art turned out really hot, and it's now the bisexual Panic game. So it's like
I was trying to make a Panic at the
so
Disco connection, being like, what? They listen to Panic at the Disco?
I I definitely made our logo look very legally distinct, but they're similar. It was Journeys through the Radiant Citadel, but she was finding like the game was like really samey.
Yeah,
Like it was like all the adventures were like, oh, and then we start again. So she's
right.
like, oh, I want to do something with like a little bit of a plot, and we like to do module run throughs to help people like learn how to run modules and
Yeah,
like help new DMs find their footing.
smart.
So so she switched over to Storm King's Thunder, and we're kind of enjoying that right now. We're fighting some giants. We're having fun. Same characters. We basically just had one of our missions be an extended one now, so
Smart.
it's a lot of fun.
Nice,
Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
pretty good.
Is that
Yeah, I like it.
that's one of the private Patreon ones, or is that something available for people to watch?
So that one's on Patreon, but what we do is all of our games end up public eventually. So the
Right.
Patreon ones have about like depending on how long my editing time is, like a 3 to 6 month cooldown, and then
Yeah,
they release on the same schedule.
yeah,
So there's stuff going up on YouTube like almost every day.
nice.
It's wild. It's honestly too many games. 'Cause how many do you run
Yeah,
a week?
it's a lot. Thankfully, I'm not a huge game runner because I run with the Viva la Dirt League for the most of my work, which is done very we film a whole bunch all at once, and then they put it out half an hour
Okay.
content, and so it allows for it to sort of trickle out. And then I'll run a game maybe every other week for an in-person game for DM for hire, essentially for some friends of mine. And then
Nice.
maybe every few months there's another group that contacts me for an online DM for hire situation. When I'm in a Twitch Tales season, I do a game called Twitch Tales, which is interactive D&D, where the chat are hive mind controlling the actions of the player, the single character. It's sort of like a solo mission. So when that's on,
I've watched one of those
week.
that you've done before, I think.
It's been going a few years now, and we've done all sorts of different. We've done one shots with completely new characters. We've got a long running campaign with a character that's been going for years. Last year we took a break from the B team campaign and did a new campaign called Cartographer about a bear person who was a cartographer, and that was just like a mini series that ran last year. So we've done a lot of different Twitch tales, and when that is in the middle of a season, then it tends to be a game every week. But when it's not, then I can go weeks without actually running any games, which works because I consider myself more of a Dungeons and Dragons variety streamer in that I'll do a stream where I am talking about the latest episode of the Viva stuff and doing like a behind the scenes tips and tricks and what I would have done differently and blah blah blah. And then I do the Twitch Tales stuff. I do this sort of stream with the short rest. I do Robert Reed's.
Do you have a favorite one?
The fact that I'm doing them all is. Yeah, the fact that I'm doing them all is the thing that keeps me sane. I have a need for variety and change in my day-to-day schedule.
Are you a fellow possessor of the attention deficit disorder?
that and the autism, yeah. So they're always battling between like, oh, you need to have a schedule. You need to have a schedule that is a routine every week, and but that routine needs to be very different every time and feel
can't be restrictive.
Can't be restrictive. You need a routine, but it can't be restrictive. Yeah, so there's it's a lot to deal with, but hey, we make it work by having a variety of different streams.
But I think that's what makes it so, I don't know, so accessible to watch, and so, like, I don't know, ADHD is such an interesting superpower. Like, it can be very hindering, but it just allows us to draw from so many different sources and to sponge up information to use in games and advice.
Have variety of interest as well, right? You go, and now I'm fascinated about this, and I've learned a whole bunch of stuff about it. And now I've put it aside, and now I'm learning about this now.
I will, yeah, exactly. I've looked up the ancient history of Swaziland, and now I'll never look it up again. But it's there. Like I can quote that my brief stint in baseball card collecting comes up, and I remember like, what the hell? Why did you do that?
Yeah, why do you know these things? The number of times people will ask something like, how do you know that? And I'll be like, how do you not know that? I don't know. Isn't that something that everybody just knows? Oh, is it something that I looked up when I was a teenager? Maybe that was it. I don't know.
I was on TV once and just stuck.
Just last night, we were doing a stream looking at one of the latest Viva videos. And at one point in that, one of the characters had decided that he had a bag of manure and he was finally going to use it to try and make an explosive. And he goes, we all know manure's explosive, right? And I paused the stream and I was like, is manure? Let's have a look. And I looked it up and I was like, oop, let's have a look. How explosive is manure? And all my chat are like, don't search that, you'll be on a watch list. I said, you have any idea how many watch lists I'm on already as a dungeon master? Like the number of times I've had to look up how long does it take a body to decompose, and how long would it take a child to starve if they fell down a well and were buried by rubble? Because that was a genuine plot point in one of my games where some kid had fallen and it turned into like a lich thing that was like controlling some undead monster on the surface, but he was doing so from the bottom of the well, and they had to work that out.
You type afterwards, how long does it take for a child to decompose? Parentheses, I am a writer. Parentheses.
Yeah, it's always 5e on the end. Just type the weirdest things. Right? Like, how explosive is manure? Brackets 5e.
Oh God, I had to look up. I had to do a bunch of cross-referencing I run a game that is set. It's like a Wild West inspired fantasy game. So it's got like cowboys and guns, but it's like still very high fantasy that I run on Saturdays. And I had to start looking up stuff like, okay, I'm never good at the gold conversion. I'm never, like, okay, what would like a horse and tackle get? What would this be? What would this be? And then my players started asking, well, we're going to go have some fun. What are entertainment rates? And I'm like, oh, and they're like, entertainment rates. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to look up services. Okay, let's do it. So like I'm pulling out all these indexes and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Historic.
Okay, so the city that you're in, I based that loosely on St. Louis. So let's look up St. Louis. How much is a brothel? How much would a brothel have been in St. Louis during these time periods?
How much is a good brothel?
How much is a good one?
And then you start looking.
You've got your dungeon master table.
Cool ideas. Where you're like, oh, well, say there's a girlfriend experience or a boyfriend experience. Does that include illusion magic?
Yeah, exactly, right? You go, okay, so do they get So a changeling would probably be allured to that
Oh
kind of
man,
a role
Changeling
because
would make so much money.
they'd go, cool. What are you looking for? Dwarf, hobbit, elf? I can be
Yeah,
anything. And then whoosh, there you go. I'm a tiefling.
exactly. So good. So good. Yeah, no, like looking at stuff like
I've
that.
got a god in my world that's like the god of all things to do with relationships. So she's god of marriage, but she's also the god of lust and the god of childbirth and the god of conception and all this. And
Nice.
her place of
Fun
worship.
stuff,
So
though.
most of my gods have the greater gods anyway. Their place of worship doubles as a business that's appropriate to them. So
Makes
the
sense.
god of greenery and flowers and stuff, their place of worship is like a greenhouse, and the god of justice, their place of worship is essentially the police station, things like that. The god of cleanliness and virginality is the bathhouse, and this god of relationships is the brothel. And that's also
Brings
where
it up.
people tend to get married because they're worshipping the god. And so in my games, I just kind of made it like this.
Man,
There's not a lot of stigma around it. It's a perfectly fine profession for people to get into, and there's
exactly.
it's not a weird debauchery thing. It's just a natural part of life that it's another service. Sometimes you want to cook for yourself, and you cook at home, or
Yeah,
sometimes you want to go to a
absolutely.
restaurant and have somebody else cook for you. And sometimes you
That's
want to take
100%.
care of this other natural need yourself, and sometimes you want to go to a service that'll do it for you.
Sometimes you need an expert too. Like sometimes
Exactly.
it's just treat yourself. You know, you go out for a fancy meal.
Yeah. And
Well,
so
like
yeah, when people are
I
like,
love
"Oh, how
that.
much does this service cost?" I'm like, "Well, let me check on the back of my DM screen.
Yeah,
Services, meals." I couldn't have put literally everything on the back of this thing, so I've basically just gone
I know, right?
something that would be provided by an unskilled labourer would cost about this. Something that's per hour, and this is going to be. And I go, "You're looking for a skilled labourer, so it's going to cost about this per hour." And then I just
Yeah.
adjust it on the fly. I found that with the economy and the questions around how much is something going to cost, I had to come up with a conversion rate to dollars so that I could actually come up with something on the fly and keep
Yeah.
some semblance of reality in my mind about how much things are costing, because it makes no sense that a skilled labourer would get a gold piece per day, but a bag of flour also costs a gold piece. That
Oh
didn't
yeah,
make
exactly,
sense.
right? That
So I
type
had
of
to go.
inflation is not sustainable,
Yeah, so I had to go. Okay,
right?
well,
Like,
let's just a rule of thumb say a gold piece is $100, and then that means a copper piece is a
that
dollar.
makes sense.
So that nice and easy to just go. Yeah, that'll. If anything's got less than a dollar, then you're probably buying several of them for a single copper.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I find that like the if you're using like D&D 5e, like because then you have to look at like the core book and how much would that be? So like a suit of plate mail would be 1,800.
Yeah,
So that would be a lot.
yeah,
$18,000? No,
yeah.
18. Oh
It's
no, $1. Yeah, 18,000.
it's a
180,000. 1 million?
thousand.
I don't know.
It's 1,800 gold, right? For playtime, I think.
Oh yeah, it's not
Gold or
18,000. It's
1,500.
1,800. So that would
I
be.
think it's 1,800. So it'd be 180,000.
Oof,
$180,000.
that's a hell of a suit of plate mail. That's like an
Yeah,
Iron Man suit.
yeah. I could do a whole series if I ever run out of ideas. Then I can just go right. I've got a new series for my YouTube videos. It's going to be just exploring the nonsense of the D&D economy. Like you can buy this for a single gold, or you can buy all of this for a single gold. There's the famous
I
one
think.
where you can buy a ladder, a 10-foot ladder, for
Mhm.
less than the price of two 10-foot poles. So people could just buy a 10-foot ladder, take off all the
Mhm.
rungs, and resell the two poles independently for more than they bought the ladder for, make a profit, and then buy another ladder, and
I
take
mean,
out
that's
the
just
rungs.
peasant railgun math, right? Like
Right.
that's. Oh, God.
You
I think you
take out
could
the
milk
rungs and
that for
sell it for
quite a bit.
poles. Buy a ladder,
Do you
take
have
out the rungs, sell it for poles. Continue
I
until
think
you're
I think you could
rich.
do. You could absolutely do a fantastic series of that, and like get like a tweed jacket, or like you like dress yourself up like a
Yeah,
stonks guy, and
yeah,
have like some
yeah, yeah,
flow
yeah.
charts, some
Well,
pie charts and graphs, and like
what we need to be doing is sell, sell, sell. I have got a note on my phone that's just ideas for YouTube series for forever. I actually have the time, and one of them is get rich quick schemes in D&D. Things like be a druid. Step one, be a druid. Wild shape into a sheep.
step one.
Have someone shear you. Keep the wool and turn back into a turn back into a person. Then the question is, are you bald when you turn back, or are you not? Like people are often asking, if you lose a finger while you're in wild shape, does the finger stay gone? Can you shear the sheep? And there's all sorts of those
Can you
questions.
shear the fingers? Like, is that what
There's
we're doing? Like,
the modern Kynan's Magnificent Mansion, isn't it? The that says that it's an extra dimensional spell, but it comes fully stocked, enough food to feed 100 people or something. It says, and you're like, okay, so you set up a right outside of a town, and you say 1 gold for the best meal of your life, and everybody comes in and pays a single gold for it.
That's really clever. I like that one.
And then you've made a shit ton of money for a single 5th edition's 5th level spell.
How much does it cost to cast that?
It's not as much as you'd gain from the amount you'd charge.
It's like I gotta look that. That's wild.
Matt in the chat says the magic spice pouch.
15 gold.
15 gold. There you go. And it can serve. I think it's 100 different people for the meal. The Hewitt's Handy spice pouch. You can just get a pinch of saffron every day.
It doesn't say that it consumes them, so you just have to have.
15 you just have the 15 just for the just for the up cost.
You need a spoon,
the startup cost.
You need a silver spoon, a piece of polished marble, and a miniature portal carved from ivory.
There you go. As soon as you've got that, boom, you're good to go. No more overheads.
I mean, not only that,
and there's no cleanup either. There's no cleanup on. There's no kitchen. There's no cooking. The food is already cooked. There's no cleanup. You just the mansion's gone. You recast it again. Boom. Here's another one with more infinite food.
Really interesting socioeconomic stuff with that, because you could also set up those places as like houses for the unhoused. You could have them be like shelters during particularly bad storms. That's why like some adventure modules that I've seen are really, they're hard to run for that reason. Rime of the Frostbane is supposed to be like really like you're in the middle of a blizzard and it's like everyone's starving, but Goodberry.
Yeah, right. It's I found that's something that's really difficult. You go, okay, I want to run this arc of this campaign is going to be really focused on resource management. You're in the desert or you're something. We're going to actually keep track of rations for the first time this campaign, and we're going to keep track of your torches because that's going to become important, and your water skins and how much you. Oh, but I've got Goodberry and Create Food and Water. And I've got Liam's Tiny Hut.
Yeah, Liam's Tiny Hut definitely cuts down on some of the horror of that too, because it's impenetrable, right?
Yeah, so it's impenetrable except from burrowing things, I suppose. But it also specifies you can climate control it inside. It's whatever temperature you want it to be inside the hut.
Yep.
You go, cool.
They use that a lot in my game.
I can't scorch you and I can't freeze you. You're just sleeping in this little bubble every night. That's fine. You don't have to worry about food and drink. You've got light, so we don't need to be tracking torches.
Yep. And everybody has
got dark vision anyway.
Or dark vision.
Yeah.
Man,
ooh, okay.
Did you?
Good luck. Good luck feeling like you're important, Ranger. It's the one thing. It's the reason why everybody rags on Rangers, because all of the things of the game just very naturally get rid of and handwave all the things Rangers are meant to be good at. All of the you can't get lost except for magical means, and when you're foraging you can get twice as much as any normal person, and you always know the way to all of these things Rangers can do. Everybody else can just do it with magic or with feature traits and whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, actually.
Yeah,
I heard that Rangers got better in 2024, but I haven't spent much time in 2024.
No, I haven't yet either, but I have read each of the classes, and Rangers did get an improvement, but then so did everybody else. Everybody who was already up at a 10 got bumped up to a 12.
Yeah, when did you start playing D&D? Were you a 5e guy?
5e.
Been around
so about 10 years ago. So in March this year, it'll be the 10th anniversary of me first playing.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I started playing in 3rd ed a little bit, and it was a lot crunchier. The spells were a little more flexible, I remember. But I never really fell in love with D&D until I really liked Pathfinder 1st edition when it first came out. But I didn't really fall in love with D&D until 5th ed. Something about it just really spoke. I like the streamlining, but I think that it's sometimes a little too streamlined.
Right. No, I agree. I think there's like a swing. I think that they definitely pushed back towards streamline with 5e, and then even more with 5.5.
Yeah.
And I think that in some areas they've gone too far with it, because you'll look
I think so too.
you'll look at something like underwater combat or mounted combat, and you go, okay, what are the rules on this? And you look at it, and it's a single
There,
paragraph that just says, oh, if you're underwater,
yeah,
you have
there,
disadvantage on swinging a sword. Oh,
yeah,
is there
yeah.
anything interesting about underwater combat? Is there anything to offset that, to make people want to do it because it's fun? No, it's only disadvantages. Cool.
Yep, it's only disadvantage, and if you have a swim speed, you don't have a
And you
disadvantage,
do,
and
yeah.
it's it's wild. And then, but the problem there is that when, like, for your own home games or for a publication or anything like that, you start building all these systems on top of it, and then you feel like you're not playing the game anymore. You feel like you're
Yeah.
not playing 5e.
Yeah.
So, like, in my Western game, I've had a character who's like, oh, I want to raise horses and like riding dinosaurs and stuff. I'm like, hell
Mm.
yeah, let's do that. But the base mount mechanics suck. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, what does that mean? How does it work if you're firing a gun on horseback? Because if you're playing a game with cowboys,
Yeah,
you
you
want to
need to
fire
fire
a gun
guns.
on
Exactly.
horseback, or right? So having to come up with all of these new systems, and then trying to make sure that everybody's on the same page with them. The same with, like, firearms, because
Mm.
firearms are iffy in 5e.
Yeah.
Like, they're
Yeah.
okay, but
Yeah.
I like doing a lot of things like adding, like, guns, like not innately magical guns necessarily, but like
Mm-hmm.
magic bullets, so that you can have like different spell effects and different, like,
Right. 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 I love
I I complicate things too much. Is what it
it.
is. My ADHD
it's
grabs a hold
it's
of it by the reins.
it's part of the fun though. It's part of the fun as the dungeon master to make those. Like, I'm having fun with D&D when I'm not playing D&D. It's not. I'm not only having fun when I'm playing. I'm having fun when I'm preparing the game, when I'm thinking about stuff, when I'm coming
Yeah.
up with new spells and new ideas and homebrewing new rules to play. I'm very much a mechanics guy, so I'm going, oh, this would be
Mhm.
a fun thing to do. This They haven't given me enough on underwater combat, so I came up with entirely new underwater combat rules where I went through all the different damage types and said,
Mhm.
how would they change underwater? Radiant light is good because it
There.
hits the person, and then because of the refraction of light through water, it bounces off and hits somebody else as well. And so radiant light chains now. And acid damage, it does half the damage that it would normally, but it
Mhm.
does doubles the radius. So
Does
if you do an
spreads
acid
out.
splash, it would diffuse into the water, and so everybody's getting a little bit more acid.
How did you do electrical? Did you just have
Electric
it just,
was Electric is
or
just a
lightning?
randomized kind of like I was thinking of electric, not radiant. So because of the refraction of the light with radiant
Mhm.
damage, it can blind the target. So it does regular radiant damage to the person
Oh,
it
that's
does it
cool.
to, and then blinds them as well because it's shining through the water. And then the
Mhm.
electric is the one that bounces. So you hit the target, and then we
Cool.
choose a random person, including your allies, within X number of feet of that person, and it can chain over to those people.
That's
So
really
that
cool.
was fun. Yeah, it was fun to come up with those things, and also give people more reason to want to fight underwater. Necessarily, it's not like everything that you do underwater is just everything you did on land but worse.
Mhm.
Like, sometimes
Exactly.
there's some
Unless you're a
benefit to
Triton or
doing so.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know,
In which
you're a
case,
Koa-Toa, then
there's
it's
still
fine.
no benefit to being underwater. It's just not a detriment. And
That's fair.
having it be, oh, you're an underwater person and you are just as good at fighting people on in the water as somebody is on land. Okay, but then there's no benefit to, like, if somebody on land you cast
Yeah.
water breathing and a swim. Maybe they've got swim speed anyway. Maybe they're a lizard folk or something, or
Mhm.
a water genasi, and they're just as good underwater as somebody who's born and raised and has lived innately under the water like a triton. It didn't really make sense to me, so I was like, you need to be able to put some weight into it, or some to have some benefit to
Mhm.
fighting underwater if you are actually designed for fighting underwater in the first place. I just
Well,
find
because
the
like half the
rules are
fun
lacking.
at D&D is, like, fights are great. Like, actual combat in D&D is a lot of fun, but I really like the spectacle of it. Like, you got to make each encounter unique, and there has to be
Yeah,
some twist to it, and
yeah.
that actually makes underwater combat interesting.
Mm-hmm. Because
Especially
you've got
spellcasting.
levels. You've got levels to it now. Oh, now we're fighting in 3 dimensions. You can swim upwards, and now you
Yep.
can surround someone, and you can get flanking, but not just from side to side. You can get flanking because you're coming at
Mhm.
them from above, and they're like, oh shit, this guy's swimming up from beneath like a shark does, and I've got to be aware of all my surroundings.
That's why I think that, like, for new DMs, playing a game like Baldur's Gate 3 is a real good primer on that, because it helps you, like, start to think in 3 dimensions. Like, oh, I can knock that statue down. Or
Yeah.
I also, like, really like to encourage my players to think outside the box and to suggest things to me, because
Hmm.
you're a DM, you're painting a scene, but you can't do every detail.
Yeah.
So if the players are like, "Oh, is there?" Let them ask questions like, "Is there a chandelier?"
There's
Well,
almost
hell
always a
yeah, there's
yes.
a
It's
chandelier.
almost, almost always a yes. Somebody will go, is there like some rubble lying around? And I'll go, tell me why you're asking that. Because if you're asking because you want there to be rubble here, then yes, there's rubble here. If you're asking
Yeah,
because rubble would get in your way, then no, there's no rubble here. Like, what are you asking
conveniently not.
for? Yeah, what do you need it for? Are you looking at for it because you
Yeah,
want something to cast catapult on, and you just want like a chunk of rock? Are you wanting it because you want a pebble that you can cast light on? Are you wanting it because you want it to be a big enough pile that you can hide behind and get cover? Tell me why you're asking, and therefore, yes, it's there. Well done. Yes, there's a chandelier with
exactly.
does it have a rope? Of course, it has a rope. Yeah. What do you want to do with it?
Of course, why wouldn't a chandelier have a rope? I don't
Yeah.
know why there's a chandelier because we're in the middle of the woods, but hey, that's its own story.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Oh, is there anything I can drop on the guy? Like for damage? You want to damage him or do you want to trap him? Because if you want to damage him, yeah, there's like a massive
Mhm.
bird's nest. There's some sort of ostrich-sized bird, fantasy bird that lives in this woods, I guess, and
Yeah.
it's a flying thing that lives in the trees, and there's a massive nest, and it's got a couple eggs in it, and that would definitely do some damage if you dropped it
Mhm.
on him, I guess. Or if you're wanting to trap him,
And that
yeah, there's like some very gnarled tree branches that are nice and easy to chop through with a magic missile, and you can drop that around him and trap him.
and that immediately creates something interesting because then, like, if they get trapped, but then you also like bring the nest down, and oh, maybe you
Mm,
crack an egg, or
yeah,
maybe there's a chick that's
and
born, or maybe the
yeah,
mother
or
comes
maybe the
back.
mother comes back and is pissed, and now you're fighting this
Now
griffin-sized
you got a three-way
bird of
fight, and
prey. Yeah,
yeah,
fun stuffs.
it makes it so much fun. It makes it so much fun,
So you
and
so
that's
so you mentioned getting into it around third edition. Let's
oh boy.
go back to that. Like, what got you into it in the first place? Were you always a nerdy
Okay.
kid interested in D&D ish
Oh
things,
hell
or
yes.
was it a new for you?
So I was always a theatrical kid. So
Right.
I was an army brat. So like I traveled all over the place, and most of my childhood was spent like playing with action figures, creating like situations and things like that, and like
Yeah.
telling stories and things like that. I always wanted to get into D&D, but my family relocated to the middle of Missouri. There's nothing there. It's the middle of the Bible Belt, and that was still in the early like D and I remember my brother used to have D&D choose your own adventure novels from the 80s.
Right.
He
Right. Right.
had a whole bunch of those. And I
Yeah.
remember bringing them to school once and being told I was going to hell because I was reading a D&D choose your own adventure novel. So it was
Wow.
like that type of community. So I wasn't,
Good lord.
I bought a copy of Encyclopedia Magica, I think volume 2, because it was at the local store and I didn't know anything about D&D. But it was this compendium of spells for like second edition, and I couldn't understand it because there nowhere in the book do they say what D means in like 2d6.
Yeah.
And I was like 14. I'm like, this is algebra. I don't know
Yeah.
what this is.
Yeah.
I eventually sold that on eBay several years later, but like I always wanted to get into role playing, and the first thing I ever did was a friend of mine who lived out on the East Coast, because this was like in the day where like chat rooms and like this was the late 90s, like everybody was just
Yeah.
in places they shouldn't be. And he ran a session of Vampire the Masquerade over the phone for me. And then that was a lot of fun. I went to college, and my first year in college, I met a bunch of nerds in the local anime club, and one of them wanted to run Shadowrun. So I played 2 sessions of Shadowrun, and it was a lot of fun. And then I
Nice.
convinced a guy who became my first ever dungeon master storyteller to run a game of Mage of the Ascension, which is a World of
Oh
Darkness
wow.
game about
Yeah. Yeah.
modern magic. And I fell in love with that. I started playing that. I've ran Mage ever since. It's kind of Dork seems like it's like the Mage channel now because nobody really
Interesting.
runs it anymore.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's not one that I
it's
see.
great.
I see people. I see most people obviously doing D&D. Quite a few doing
Yeah,
Pathfinder. I see Vampire the Masquerade quite commonly, but there's very few. I don't know anybody other than you that does Mage the Ascension.
very few. Like there are a couple. I think McStabber Studios or Vancouver by Night were going to do a Mage game for a while, but
Right.
it's pretty rare. And
Mm,
I got really big into that and started playing D&D as well because of course you do, right?
yeah, of
Like
course.
everybody plays D&D
Yeah, gotta.
eventually. I kind of fell in and out of it. I ran Pathfinder for a bit, and it wasn't until right before Dork started that I had done Pathfinder first ed, and I was doing like I was getting into Starfinder a little bit right when it first came
Right.
out, and then my roommate at the time had bought all of the D&D books, and I remember flipping through and looking at the art around the cleric pages and seeing that you could be like a cleric of trickery, and you could be,
Right.
I was
Right.
like, that's a really cool idea
Yeah.
that you didn't used to feel that type of vibe in D&D.
Yeah.
So I gave it a try, and it was really good. And so I decided that when we started Dork Tales, I was going to run a pair of games, and they were going to be one like typical fantasy, like a generic fantasy game, which is what it became called for the longest time. That was just like improv generic fantasy
Yeah.
shenanigans. Then I was going to run like a modern one, and we're still running the generic one.
Wow.
Shards of Nirn has been running for 6, 7, 8 years now, and
Wow.
it'll
That's
hopefully
impressive.
wrap in the next couple of years. It's pretty
How
good.
often?
It's
How
wild.
often does it play?
Not as often as it should. It used to be weekly. Now it's bi-weekly, and but everybody's in school, working, and
Yeah.
so
It's
occasionally
life.
we've had trouble. It's the hard game to keep on the schedule, so I'd say it runs about monthly these days.
Yeah.
It's on next Wednesday if anybody wants to come and check it out. We are in a library of infinite knowledge, looking for a way for the level 17 characters. I think there's 17
Whoa. Wow.
to stop a dragon war. You know, a dragon war.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah. It's something
Stop them
that's
from.
level 17 appropriate. End of the world stuff.
You're exactly right. Everything's into the world in this one, but it's been a really fun game, and
It's so hard to balance anything for that sort of level though. Level 7 US. Like I found that with 5e especially, you get past about level 12 even, and it starts to get to the point where you're going, whew, man, what can I throw at them that they can't just handle immediately? Even at level 12, they've got magic items and stuff. They're coordinated because they've got all these things. By this point, especially if they've played from level 1, they've got favors with archfey and gods and stuff that they've done
yep.
little quests for. They've got mayors. I've got the mayor of that town because we saved that town from kobolds a year ago, and now we've got favors we can call in on powerful NPCs, and we've got all these magic items, and you go, what can I throw at you that makes sense logically as well? Because in order to challenge a level 13 party, why is this town, why is this area of the world that they're in under this much threat this often? Where are these level 13 and above monsters coming from every week? What's the ecosystem like in this world?
It's like Dragon Ball, right? Like it's
yeah, right.
Here's another,
over 9,000.
Exactly. One of the best techniques for that I always found was using I think it was Superman 64,
right?
Where there was in that game, Metropolis had a health bar, you didn't.
Okay, right.
And it's like that type of like when you're that level, then you start hurting the things the players like or threatening them. And
Yeah.
because they're going to take care of it. I remember in I think level 16,
that's really good.
I was throwing entire armies of orcs. There was a big thing with orcs trying to god power.
Yeah.
Level 16. But like I'm throwing hundreds of tokens on the screen, and my one wizard's like gravity reversal. Like, well, shit. I guess I have flying orcs.
Yeah, there's so much where you go, oh, numbers mean nothing to these people anymore. there's always something that they go, oh, well, in that case, we'll do the druid turns into this whatever, and then the barbarian can do his once a day giant thing where he can turn into a whatever, and you go, yeah, I really regret giving him that power. And then he just launches the druid into there, and then the druid is meanwhile, and then the wizard can do the teleport thing to switch places with somebody, and then I cast my 7th level whatever, and I take care of everything in 120 feet of me. You go, how have you got this much of a combo? And when did you guys start working together? Fucking hell. Go back to the early days, right? When you didn't even know what each other could do and you forgot that you had guidance.
And you really have to homebrew the crap out of things to make them any good at all, at that level. And you have to... I'm coming up with like all sorts of new like systems and ideas, trying to make things more dangerous and like... it's fun. But
one of my
nuclear arms race.
One of my pet peeves in 5e is just how poor the stat blocks are, how just boring they are. Okay. Even at high levels, they're just, here's a stack of hit points that has a claw attack.
We recently finished our playthrough of Vecna Eve of Ruin. And I'm not going to say anything about the module itself, but the final fight with Vecna, it lasted for one round and one turn, and I
Incredible.
cheated. I have channel points that people can buy, and they allow me to like fudge rolls and like, or just re-roll or something like that.
Yeah.
I used those to give him 500 extra HP in that round. I don't hide it. I'm honest about it. I'm like, yeah, okay, he's healing, and like, it was ridiculous. Like my characters were a little OP in that game, but even so, 500 HP. Are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? And this is supposed to be the final threat?
Right, I know, right? Do you know Dreaded GM at all? Have you come across them on your travels through the universe? So Dreaded GM is a friend of mine, and ran a Vecna Eve of Ruin shortly after it came out as like I can't remember, it was a channel point reward or something for their channel. I think it was a community goal, whatever. And they said, come on board, make a level 20 character. We'll see how hard this fight is. And I made a point of playing a pacifist, a level 20 paladin of redemption pacifist, essentially. And then there was a blood hunter and someone else. I think we were a party of 4 level 20s, and it was so easy to kill Vecna. And I made a point of going, I'm not even going to do damage to him, and we're still going to kill him. Because Vecna, every time he does damage to somebody else, my aura, which by that point is a 30-foot aura, which is pretty much fucking anyone on the map, I just stand in the middle. Right? And it's like, oh, you do damage to somebody, you take the same amount of damage. Or you do damage to somebody, I can absorb that damage instead, which I then can heal with my own hands. And I don't have to damage you, you're damaging yourself. And then the blood hunter's also tearing his face off because they're level 20 crazy.
It's wild. And we had a game the other day where because one of my friends is running Descent into Avernus on over on our Patreon,
right?
And Zariel showed up early as a twist. Zariel, holy crap! Holy crap! That is a stat block I respect.
Yeah,
because that was, I think we were like level 8 or something like that, level 7, level 8, and she's just like, oh, you hurt one of my generals, I'm going to hurt you. And it was like, nope, we're out.
So the thing that kind of kicked off my whole D&D career was running Descent into Avernus for the Viva guys. So Wizards of the Coast got in touch with us when they were releasing it and said, we're just at that point they were just scattershotting to any content creators to go, do you want to do this? We'll give you some money. So thankfully they contacted Viva right at the time that Viva were looking to do some D&D content, and we just filmed a one shot. And they were like, it's not really the production value we want for the channel. The audio and the lighting wasn't great. We thought we'd just do it ourselves, and regretted the decision. So yes, we'll do D&D content. I think there's a market for it, but we just need to find someone who's willing to sponsor it. And then it's like sitcom level timing. Wizards of the Coast immediately contacted and say, hey, we'll give you some money to do Descent into Avernus. And they were like, fortuitous. So we did Descent into Avernus, but they also wanted us to do it as a single session. But they also wanted to do the entire campaign. And I was like, which parts do you want me to do? And they were like, yes. And I was like, this is a level 1 to 13 campaign, and I can't. Okay, fine. And they go, bullet points. You need to include Phallus the Fisk. You need to include this. You need to include that. It's a 9 episode series. Each episode's only half an hour long, so it was a real rush job and real railroading.
How the hell did you manage that?
Because I forced them through it with a hand. I was like dragging them along. Not only were they on rails, they were on a maglev train, and I started them at level 4. At one point, I just upped them to level 6 and then sent them to hell. And then I gave them Lulu, who they didn't have the Holophant minis yet, so I just used her as a unicorn instead. And then I just handheld with Lulu and went, cool, you come in this way, and and we'll skip over Mad Maggie a bit, and we'll do a very brief race we'll skip this bit and we'll do that, and we'll just jump to the temple with the sword in it. You just have to do one personal sacrifice, give up something that's important to you, and then you get the sword. Cool, now you've got the sword, and now you go to the chains, and we'll skip over the entire army that's fighting on the ground, and you can just climb up the chain, and you're in the city, and you fight a couple of demons, and then that's it. It was like handled, and it was a lot of fun. But the whole Descent. Yeah, it's fun. It's available still on their channel.
It's still up, right?
Yeah, it's still up. You can go and watch it as on their playlists.
You know, I'll send my DM to go do that, because I'm not running that one. So
you're not running it.
Like I know I've kind of skimmed the book because I was going to run it before he did. So like I'm not going to get spoiled.
I want
some, I want some surprises.
It was a lot of fun, but that's kind of where we got our start. I can't
How
remember
did you
what were we
keep your
talking about
hair?
with.
I would have pulled my hair out. Like,
Yeah. What were we talking about that got us into Descent into Avernus? You said something about the
stat blocks. We're talking about weak
oh, the
villains.
stat blocks, yeah. And right at the very end, so I'm describing the fact that they're on the first level of hell, and I've given them some very quick exposition from an NPC saying, "Oh, by the way, there's a fallen angel who's now a devil, and she's in charge of the whole thing. You don't want to come in contact with her." Lulu is telling them all this stuff because she's like, "Yeah, I used to be her mount, her steed, as a unicorn. You know, But I believe that maybe there's still some good in her." And then at one point, they're just about to do whatever the last MacGuffin is to get free of hell and free the city and whatever. And I explain, by the way, you look off into the distance and you can see a creature leave the battling armies and start hurtling towards you at bullet speed. There's like a sound shockwave coming from behind her. She is X number of hundreds of feet away. Because I'd worked out, with her speed, with her dash, and with her legendary action to move, she can move this amount per round, and I want them to have 5 rounds to whatever, so she's this far away. And what are you doing? Oh, I'm going to try and do what I need to do to break this thing. Okay, she's 4 rounds away. What are you guys doing? I'm going to try this thing. She's 3 rounds away. And it got to a point where they had to try and intercept her, and I kept telling them explicitly, not just hinting, if you try to fight her, you die. You can't. Her stat block is far too powerful for any of this, and I won't spoil what happens. But it is some of the both funniest and heart-wrenching stuff that we've done. It's very fun.
That's awesome. And as your first real like foray into D&D on the channel too.
Yeah. And that's what made people. They released that on the main channel, and their main channel was used to just doing comedy sketches about video games at that point. And so the people who loved it really loved it. D&D nerds go hard for their hobby. And so there were people like, oh my god, more of this directly into my veins. But the majority of their channel were going, what is this shit? Stop putting half-an-hour content up. I want 3-minute comedy sketches about there's no diverging from what you guys do. You're in a box. I've put you in a box, and you're only ever going to do the thing that I want you to do. And so they said, I don't want to screw the algorithm, 100%. So that's why they changed it to having a secondary channel just for D&D content.
Oh, that makes sense. It's really hard to find like a very good actual play that really sits with you. You know, like when people find that, they stick around. Yeah. You know, I love my community. Like they're so amazing. I'm sure you're the same way. Like seeing some of the familiar faces, and I'm seeing them in the chat right now, and I'm like, it's you guys. I love you guys.
Yeah. Literally couldn't do it without them.
It's so cool. Seriously,
we've been talking a lot recently about the interesting dynamic of creator and fan, or creator and community, in that it's not quite parasocial because we do have connections. We do know we get to know some of these people to varying levels of understanding, but there's still a disconnect in that the majority of the time they're watching us and they're seeing us and they get to learn our mannerisms and the types of stories we tell. They get to know us pretty intimately. And for a lot of these people, they're just names on screens that we don't know much about. But they're still members of the community. They're still a huge part of why we're able to do what we do. But we don't get to know them. And it's a really interesting dynamic to try and navigate. Has that ever been a thing that you guys have had to navigate? Had any problems with?
I mean, problems, not really very many problems. People don't tend to be, they don't tend to be bad about things like that. We have a really good Discord community. And you really get a sense of who people are after a while, especially because like people, a lot of them end up on the Patreon, and so like we see them in much smaller audience chunks, and like a lot of the in jokes and a lot of the communication. Then we like people share their struggles, their issues with life, issues with people losing things important to them, people, jobs, all that. Like we're there to support people, and it's really good, especially because we were there through COVID. Like we were, it felt really wonderful being able to help people do something during the pandemic, or be able to express themselves or find a community. And that was really, really important. I think like the only bad stuff we've ever had is that I'd say about 70% of my cast are female or femme presenting. And there are times to time some creepers. You know, especially when you have pretty female shaped things on camera. Sometimes people go a little weird with it, but they're pretty easy to weed out. Like really quickly.
It's always an interesting one to try and be there for the person who might not be, most likely is not doing anything intentional, but is just not good with people, doesn't have social skills, doesn't understand that that's not okay, hasn't had someone in their life to tell them that's not how you act around people, that's not okay, you're making people feel uncomfortable, and like knowing when somebody's being just nasty and needs to just go, okay, you're not part of this community, versus when somebody's just kind of overstepped and is like, just needs a bit of guidance to go, don't say things like that, man. That's not okay.
And I know it becomes like a slightly blurrier line, I think, with some of our streams as well, because we do a lot of cosplay. So I'd say like 95% of our games are costumed and like full makeup. And there's that line with some people who aren't very good with social mores, with like complimenting somebody's outfit or look and then complimenting someone's looks. Right.
Yes,
and it's
right.
You know, you look awesome in that costume is so much different than, oh, you're such a pretty person, you're so attractive, you know, etc.
I always try, as a rule of thumb, I always try to remind myself, if you're going to compliment someone, compliment something that they've made a choice on. They can't choose. That's fantastic. They can't choose what eye color they have. They can't choose what. Well, if they've colored their hair, that's a different thing. You go, I love the pink hair. That's great. It's a great choice. But if they're naturally a redhead, don't go, oh, I love redheads. That's objectifying in a way that they've not made a choice about that. Oh, you're so pretty. It's nice to hear, but it's also not something you've chosen to do. You don't have a choice over your genetics per se. Whereas I love the way you've done your makeup. I love the costume you're wearing. Oh man, that prosthetic is amazing. That's choices they've made. It's creative decisions that they've done. It's complementing their skill, their talent that they've put into working on something. I love the way you tell stories. Those things.
That's always a good one.
Exactly right. Yeah.
It's always feels so good to get that. I think the only other bad thing is just being on YouTube is sometimes difficult, because like we also have a lot of people in our group that are queer and trans, and we don't hide that. Like we're very open. We usually do like a pronoun list at the beginning just for courtesy, because we for quite a while we had somebody on our team who would constantly have to remind that they were non-binary. And so after a while, it just became, well, we're just all going to say this so that we're not singling anybody out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but the number of comments on YouTube, man, like just YouTube chuds who they hate it. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go watch another stream that isn't too woke. I'm like,
the thing to remember is that bots are getting so advanced that people don't have to be sitting behind them to write them to go, you can scour the internet for these things and then make these sorts of comments about it. And there's the sort of dead internet theory that the majority of things that are happening in comment sections online are bots shouting at bots, which is really sad to believe, but I'm getting more and more in understanding of that, because there are people who are going, oh, I want this view that I hold to be seen as a more prevalent view in the world than it actually is, and so I'm going to write this thing that'll just send people out to do comments about stuff. And it's so important that's why people say don't feed the trolls, don't engage. A lot of people are out there just to be causing drama, and that's what they get off on. And so even if it is a real person and not a bot, most likely they're just saying something to get a reaction, and you block, you delete, if you again, goes back to what I was saying before about the guy making comments. You have to kind of decide in the moment, is this someone who's genuinely someone I can engage with and they will listen and say, because that's the thing, it can come across when somebody goes, why is dread they them and not he him, I don't understand. And you can kind of judge in that, okay, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe you're genuinely asking this. Yeah. Maybe you're just doing this to bait me into a rage baiting argument with you. So I will answer honestly. Yeah. Oh, they've said that sometimes they feel like a he, sometimes they feel like she, and so any is fine for them. They're fine to use whatever pronouns. I think I've not asked them to define themselves or put a label on it, but I think that they would probably identify as gender fluid, and that their gender changes, and so they're happy with any. And if the response comes back, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense. Yep. Then that was someone who was genuinely just curious, and we don't want to. Yeah. One thing, the problem that a lot of more left-leaning people have is that we are so willing to jump on each other and tear each other apart for incorrect word choice and stuff, where it's very self-cannibalizing, which is a real shame. So I think it's important to remind ourselves, just give them the benefit of the doubt our default should be, and we do have to deal with a lot of shady people on the internet, but try not to let that let that change your default into assuming the worst. Assume good intent until they've shown you. If they come back and they're like, but that doesn't make sense because there's only two genders, you go, cool, this person's not somebody I'm going to change their opinion of. They're here for a debate that I'm not interested in having. Block them from the channel. And blocking is important. At first I was like, censorship, and is it important to let people have their freedom? I don't agree with his point of view, but he has the right to say it. But I watched an interesting video from Matt Colville who says you have to cultivate your community. Your community being a safe space for people who are in the LGBTQ world, it requires them seeing that you are taking proactive action to prevent people who are not part of that community from coming in and being hostile towards it. Yes, you're allowed to have 100%. Freedom of speech. Me blocking you doesn't change your freedom of speech. It changes your ability to say it in my home. You don't come into my home and say those things. You're allowed to say those things in your own platforms. That's why freedom of speech comes in. You can stand on your own soapbox and say trans people are not people, whatever the fuck you want. Go do whatever you want in your own space. I'm not allowing that in my home. And that's not censorship. That's me protecting boundaries for the spaces of the people who matter to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you are the head of a channel, you have such a responsibility and such like. If you don't do it, who else is going to? You know? So, and I also find that as like a big, loud, like white cis guy, I can take a lot of heat. And also I get a lot less heat. I'll tell you what, this beard does a lot of work. I can, it's that phenomenon where like my partner can say something and people will be like, well, that's not true. And then I'll say the same thing.
Say the same thing.
Because I have a beard. And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, shut up. Shut up.
Let me say it in a slightly deeper voice.
I think I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, so where were we? So let's go back to where did you begin the journey into becoming Dork Tales? You said you started in 2018, which is earlier than a lot of people I speak to. A lot of people got their start around COVID when they were like, fuck, I got laid off and I don't know what I'm doing and now I'm making D&D content. But for you, it was even earlier than that. You were still in 3 at the time, or you'd moved to 5e fully?
No, we were in 5e. We were in 5e. So what happened was one of our members is a nurse, and she had participated in Extra Life a few times,
right,
and done video games and stuff. And we got to talking, and she was already in my gaming group. We'd done like tons of off-camera stuff. And we had recorded some episodes for Dork Tales that had never, like, we had footage, but we hadn't done anything with them like a couple months before that. And we got to talking about like, oh, we should do like an Extra Life thing. Well, why don't we do a game for Extra Life? And then that turned into grabbing a copy of Waterdeep Dragon Heist and running it for 25 hours straight. Because of course, Extra Life always falls on daylight savings time, so you have that extra hour. And
for anyone who doesn't know, it's a charity. It's a gaming-related charity, and hence Extra Life, like Super Mario Extra Life, and it specifically focuses on mental health.
It's on the Children's Miracle Network.
Is there a mental health element to it, or is Extra Life the child?
It's raising. So Extra Life is the one for kids. It's raising.
Oh, Jasper's Game Day. Jasper's Game Day is for mental health. It's children's health, isn't it? It's saying these kids need another chance at having enjoyment and fun in their life. Yeah.
So we did that, and it was a lot of fun. And then that we just kept going after that, because I went out and I bought the camera, I bought everything for streaming. And then it was like,
the 25 hours was the first thing you did?
It was the first thing that we did on Twitch.
I'm thinking of starting getting into running. Should I go for the 100-meter sprint at the Olympics? Yeah, let's do that as the introduction.
I have ADHD. That's how we do things. We hit the ground running.
True.
And so that turned into running a couple games every week or so, maybe.
Right.
And that ran for, I guess, we started building up a following, and then we started the Patreon and started building up some funds so that we could do some cool stuff and do some upgrades. So I think originally we were sitting around a table with a Yeti microphone recording all of us, you know?
Yeah.
And
so
then
we all start.
And then time progressed, and I went out to the local audio store and went and bought like 5 industry microphones, and like I saved up for months on the Patreon to buy like microphones and mixing boards. I bought all this stuff so that we could start having our own like tables. We kind of have like a little more like the Critical Role setup, you know, like the the DMs in this screen, you know the usual like.
Yeah.
And then the next day we went into lockdown. After I spent all that money on those microphones, so we transitioned to online play, and at that point, so I had been. You're
like, I'll just pop back to the audio store and just get a return on. Oh wait, no, I can't leave my house to go back to the audio store, and the audio store's shut.
Well, and they kept saying it's only going to be a couple months. It's only we're only going to be locked down for a month, and then 2 months, and then 3 months, and then 4 months, and then 6 months, and by then my return window had passed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right,
far out.
I guess. So I still have those mics, and I still use that mixing board, or that interface. It's a workhorse. And so what happened was I had been working full time before the pandemic, and then strangely, it coincided with I was teaching at a local college, storytelling, and I was doing some like web writing work as another side gig, and both of those contracts ended in December. And I was set to renew my teaching for the next year, and I hadn't had a vacation in like 15 years, is what it turned into. And I was like, you know what? My contracts have ended. I'm on unemployment for a little bit. I'm going to look for a job, but I'm not going to stress about it. Like, I'm not going to take the first thing that comes out. I'm not going to take like a retail job. I'm going to look for something that I actually am passionate about. And then the pandemic hit. And it dragged on, and I actually got hired really quickly in the beginning of that as a professional LARPer. I got hired to be. I got hired to be a historic reenactment performer at a local lighthouse. And
nice. How did that come about? The opportunity.
I have a degree in history. My background is in history and storytelling. So I saw that there was the local like provincial historical societies, and like the provincial government has reenactors at a number of historical sites. Right. I saw a posting on like Indeed or something like that. Yeah. And basically you dress up like a lighthouse keeper, and you say, oh, well, this lighthouse has been around since 1842, right?
Right.
Stuff like that. So I went in, I did the interviees, I did the improv lessons, and it was so much fun. But then,
did you have a background in improv or acting or anything like that before that?
I've done acting since I was a kid. A lot of like productions in like high school and things like that.
Right.
And I've been a voice actor like amateurly forever. So
gotcha.
Yeah. I really love it. And the years of live action, like
I really love these. I love stories like this where it's just things that you were good at and passionate about and just pursuing and enjoyed just started to just come together. Your history, your acting, your storytelling. Where was the background in storytelling from? Just briefly, like were you?
I've been a writer, so I've got a BFA in writing for stage and screen. So,
there you go. So again, it comes together.
Yeah, so I did. It totally meshes together, right? And then I was always like a writer in like, in high school. I remember writing the first thing that I ever really put to paper. I was like 10, and I wrote like the worst Dragonlance fan fiction. Just the worst. It was just it was like the serial numbers filed off, Dragons of Autumn, Twilight, right?
Yeah.
But you keep it going, and so the lighthouse keeper thing evaporated with the pandemic, and then I was.
How long were you doing it before the pandemic hit? Was it a long?
I wasn't. They got my measurements.
They were ready to do it, and then man,
they were ready. They were like, and then it was we're going to have you processing unemployment claims instead, because we're getting so many right now because of the Canadian emergency benefits and things like that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, and then I just never heard back because their office closed. So I'm sitting there. I have nothing to do. I'm on unemployment. There's a pandemic. I'm like, okay, well, I'll run another game. And eventually it was like, okay, am I going to do this professionally? And I've been running games ever since. Like it's my job. And it's wild.
Isn't it weird? As somebody who does this for a living, to another person who's in the same position, what do you find to be your go-to answer when somebody asks you what you do?
I'm a content creator. I'm a
Right.
content creator, or I'm a writer.
Right.
And there's
Writer, they'll
usually
understand. They go, oh, I know what writer means. This guy must be, and through their own lens, they'll go, he's a journalist, or he's an author, or
exactly
he's a screenwriter,
right.
depending on if
So,
you're talking to someone in LA or something.
and when you're in the tabletop RPG space, it's so weird when you're like, "Oh, I'm a content creator," and they're like, "Oh, you're on YouTube," and you're like, "Yeah." "Oh, well, how many subscribers do you have? Do you have like
You
10
went to like
million?"
10
And you're
million?
like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I've got like 13,000," but like they're really rabid.
Yeah.
Like,
But they're really,
you know,
they really love the stuff that you do. Oh, you can survive on that? Not on YouTube alone, but
not on YouTube alone. And like, I got
that's
a
why we
part-time
diversify.
job. Like
Get
right, you gotta
Patreon and
diversify,
Twitch
like,
and yeah.
oh god, and then sponsorships, and you have to go
Mm-hmm.
and right now we've got, I'm sure you put the link down below me, but we have a backer kit starting because we're
Right
doing our
here.
own dice line. And
Yeah.
go sign up, go get notified. I'm giving you free stuff just for getting notified. I'm giving you some free 5e modules and stuff, so it'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's such a hustle. Like, you have
So
to do so
do
much.
do you do DM for hire stuff outside of Patreon as well, or do you just run for the patron games?
So I just run for the Patreon. I haven't done DM for hire stuff yet. I'm it's in the back pocket in case, like, for,
Yeah,
you
right.
know,
It's
like when I
always
have a
there as like
kid, or when I need to
if we need extra money.
when
Yeah.
I need to pay a mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might be doing some pay for DM stuff at some local, like some big conventions in Canada soon. Just hammering the details about that home. So that'll be fun.
Nice.
How do you find it? Like,
So
do you like
I
it? Is
found
it
that when I started doing it as a career, I discovered D&D 2016. Started getting, well, I immediately, it was like heroin in my veins, and I was like, I need more of that. And the guy who ran it for me just did one game and then never again, kind of ghosted. And I was like, I just want to play again. What the hell? And then it was months later that I finally found a group that I could continue with slightly more regularly. The guy who ran that did so for about 4 or 5 sessions and got bored and said, "You seem to be really into this, Rob." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Do you want to take over DMing?" I said, "Hell yeah! I've already bought the books." so I started DMing, and I've been DMing ever since. And then I got into that around the same time that I was going back to university, because I discovered that just acting wasn't really bringing me joy anymore, and I wanted to do something else. So I went back to university to study mathematics, and much like yourself, with the different degrees and the different avenues, it ended up being just, it worked together really well, because I've got a degree in acting and a degree in mathematics, which is storytelling and numbers, which is Dungeons and Dragons. Like, it set me up for exactly what I want to be. And so my D&D hobby was taking off in a big way at the same time as my maths potential career. And then right as I was graduating in 2020 during the pandemic, I was felt like I was straddling two trains. The D&D thing with Viva was taking off in a big way, and we just started the new channel, and I was like, this has the potential to be my career. But I've already done this once with the acting and taking a leap into the creative arts and being a poor student, and my life spent eating ramen because I got no money for anything else. Do I commit to the maths thing because it's more stable and it's going to get me a quote unquote real job? My brother at the time was like, well, if you get off the maths train, it's going to be harder to get on it again later, surely. So just stay on that one, and you know, if that takes off, you can whatever. And I was like, cool, thanks for the advice. D&D it is.
Is it like that with brothers? Absolutely. Same thing with mine.
Very much.
Thanks
for letting me know, so I know what I'm doing now.
I would think it'd be easier to get back, like, because math changes, but
it doesn't. Yeah, it's still gonna be the same math like in a few years' time.
Math, like,
I'm gonna be rusty at things, but I can remind myself how to integrate or whatever calculus. So I was like, no, I'm going to commit to this and hope for the best. And so at the time, I remember saying, oh, I can do DM for hire if I need to. That's a thing. And I just never I've done many DM for hire games, but I didn't have to fall back on it in a big way. Most of my income comes from Twitch now, with a huge chunk of it coming from Viva, obviously, and then significant chunk comes from everything else: my Patreon, a little bit from my YouTube, from my merch store, and I don't have to do DM for hire. The games that I do run DM for hire are basically just grandfathered in from those early days when I was doing it a little bit.
That's fair. I thought about doing some DM for hire stuff like seasonally, like like a Christmas special or a
Right, yeah.
charity. There's a big push right now on. I just got the email from because I'm signed up for Start Playing. Like I get
Hmm.
newsletters from them,
Hmm.
and they're doing a big push for raising money for the stuff that's happening in the States right now
Right,
in February, where they're doing charity matching up to
right.
$3,000 per game or something like that.
Oh, wow,
And I was like,
nice.
oh, maybe, yeah, if I'm gonna start, maybe this should be like I'll do it because my birthday's coming up, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do like a pay to play on my birthday, and I'll donate all the
Yeah,
proceeds or something, right?
yeah,
Because I find that our community, like our in general, not just my community, but like
yeah.
our community
D&D
in the D&D
community,
world, they're so generous, like
incredibly.
with charities, and
Yeah,
it's wild the amount of things that we've been able to do because we like this year was the first year that we have not met and surpassed our goal for Extra Life,
right.
because this year's really rough. Like
Yeah.
this year, like
Oh,
inflation's
yeah.
way up, people are out of work, and I get it. But like out of 7 years of doing it, it's the first year we haven't, like
Yeah.
we kept having to raise our bar because people
Right.
are so generous,
Yeah.
and it's wild, man. Like it's
As I say, people
I
who are
love
into D&D tend to know what they like and have the money to go. I want to buy these dice. I want to buy this map. I want to contribute to this Kickstarter. I want to help this content creator that I love with
let's not start on
his.
Kickstarter. I have so many Kickstarters that I've backed over the years. Oh God,
Yeah, yeah. People are
it's
very generous in this community. It's. I mean, I wouldn't be able to pay my mortgage without without that generosity. It's because
it's
people
really
are
true, right?
very much vibing with the community of D&D space and how it tends to be people who are very encouraging. People who want to make D&D content tend to be a lot more open and inclusive in their behaviors. I don't know of many, if any,
I don't know if there are
D&D
any
content creators
really.
who are like super conservative, and obviously there's people who play it who are, because you get the comments of the people who are trying to gatekeep and going
Yeah.
fucking all these rules and consent in gaming forms
Well,
and session zeros. You don't need to be doing
it's like
that woke bullshit.
you don't see many conservative comedians for that reason either,
Yeah,
because
similar. Yeah,
it's hard to be inclusive and let other people. Oh, it's hard to be exclusive and to not have issues with sharing storytelling.
yes,
Like
yeah, and I
if
think it
you're
requires an understanding of human nature, both stand-up comics and D&D-ish related things,
100%.
TTRPGs. It requires you to be able to take a look at human nature and the sort of stories that we tell and what is important to humans, and putting yourself in the shoes of different people so that you can understand the different perspectives of the games that you're telling, and the people, the
Exactly.
NPCs and the creatures that you're telling, and trying to empathize with the bad guy so that you know how to tell their story correctly, so that the good guys can defeat them. You just have to be more open to understanding people, and that tends to lead people towards more liberal and progressive viewpoints, because by nature you go,
100%.
oh, these are people and they do deserve rights, and they're no
Yeah.
different to me and you, and the differences between us actually are what make us good and unique, and have the spice of life in the variety among us, and we can acknowledge and honor those things without disrespecting them. And yeah, I think
Right.
tends
You
to
think
be
it would
the
be easy.
yeah, you'd
You
hope
think it'd
anyway.
be easy just to be like, hey, people are people.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but I am. Yeah.
So
Sorry,
you,
I'm
so
looking at the
you,
chat right now.
That's all good. So you started 2018 with doing games and such. By 2020,
Yeah.
you were ready to go with an online at the table in person game with all of these things. COVID hit. You
Yeah.
started doing online gaming instead. Did you see
Yep.
an immediate growth in the audience? Were you on Twitch right from the very beginning, or were you on other
We were we
platforms?
were on Twitch from the beginning. Yeah. So
And
we
did
were
you
on
see
Twitch and then
a
YouTube
real
right from the
grind
very
of
beginning.
streaming to nobody for a while, or did you find an
I
audience
think,
pretty
yeah.
quick?
Yeah. So it was a trickle in. It was a trickle in. It was a lot of like streaming for friends, and then people started watching, and then I was lucky. One of my friends is a professional voice actor for a lot of anime stuff. So
Right.
they joined one of my games, and we started getting a little more of a trickle in. partly because of them. It was earlier in their career. Now they're like Hayden Davio is a huge name in like a lot of the anime scene now.
Right.
So Hayden is wonderful. But then we were looking at things to do, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do like a module playthrough. And I think it was really the module playthrough of Rime of the Frost Maiden,
Right.
where I was like, okay, and I also want to do it costumed. Like
Right.
I want to start doing more cosplay stuff again because I come from like a theater and a LARP background, and I
Mm-hmm.
love costuming. And so it was like, okay, we'll do this costumed. We'll see. You know, our dwarf girl would paint a beard on every week, and
Nice. Yeah.
you know, and we started really rolling with that, and like people really got into that. But I think that the one that really blew everybody away was when we got into Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Right.
And because I think Witchlight is the shining example of like the best thing that 5e has put out in terms of
It is.
recent
It
years
is
at
great.
least.
It is great. I
And
loved that they
we had an
made
amazing.
a conscious effort to go. It is going to be possible to get through every encounter in this module with no combat, if you
I
should so
love that.
choose, because it was the
You
first
do
time
not
that
have
they'd
to fight.
really acknowledged the fact that they say, "Oh, there's three pillars of D&D. There's combat, there's exploration,
Mhm.
there's roleplay." And yet we only really do anything to do with the combat, and we've got no mechanics or anything in place for the exploration and the roleplay. Everything else is just, it's two different games. You're playing until you roll
Yep.
initiative, and then it becomes a different game with a different system, and most of your features and traits and spells and everything are all designed about taking damage and healing damage and buffing and debuffing. And then combat ends and you go back to the other game, which is a different game
Mm.
with skills and whatever. And it was the first time they went, "Oh, here's a module where we're going to acknowledge sometimes you want to fix an encounter without you want to defeat an encounter, overcome it
Well,
without
especially with
fighting them."
fairy tale logic in it, there's so many cool things you can do in that setting, and it was a lot of fun. I blame a lot of it on like just the costuming in that game was where we really, well, we really brought it. We one of my players is a professional makeup artist and is
Nice.
also a costume designer, and so like they designed like a full ringmaster outfit for me. They decided to play a Leonin and had like a full latex prosthetic every game
Right. Jeez
with like
Louise.
the cat face.
Wow.
And oh man, she ripped that thing up the moment we wrapped the final session. Just never
I
again.
I bet. God, I've done prosthetic work before. It's not pleasant.
Well, I mean, we do a lot of painting, a lot of orcs, a lot of tieflings.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most prominent one right now, I play a blue tiefling with like these big ass magnetic horns that I have
Right.
on and
Right.
under the wig, and but it's my player Robin who plays a goblin in the Wild West game, and
Robin the Goblin.
she's really mastered it. Like the full green,
Yeah.
like the contact lenses, the hair,
Wow.
and then she's a goblin artificer prostitute. So she
Right.
wears like a corset and she has to like push and paint her
Push everything up and then green up the
it's
cleavage.
it's oh sure, and she's got the green shading everywhere, and
Right.
it's so good. It's so
Wow.
good. Like and just stuff like that people are bringing to the table. It's so much fun to watch, and I think that people stick around a little bit for that,
Mm.
you know. And then they go, "Oh, these guys are actually good at what they do."
So who is
You
who
know,
is Dorktails? Is Dorktails you and then you have cast, or is Dorktails like everyone? How does it work for you?
I consider Dorktales the team, so I'm the face. It's my channel. I'm in charge of basically everything, but then I've
Mm-hmm.
got a team of about 20 people behind the
Wow.
scenes, rotating players, some
Yeah.
usuals, some guests. I've got some alumni and some I forget what we're calling them now, the junior members who are like, oh, they're guest players basically. They come
Right.
in for a season. They,
Yeah.
you know, I've got my friend Alante is a guest player for Descent to Avernus, and he's an actor from the No Sleep podcast. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
that's
Right.
really cool to have him in
Cool.
there, and then some VTubing friends coming over for things. Whenever we've done crossovers with Onyx Path.
Mm.
Travis Legg is a writer and creator for Onyx Path. He's a good
Right.
friend. He comes over and plays, and he was a Ferengi in a Star Trek game we
Oh
ran
wow.
for a while with like the big prosthetic ears.
Did he actually
And,
have
like,
the
it was
ears and
fun.
everything? Wow.
Oh
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. I was a Klingon with the my Klingon makeup is hilarious because I start off looking like a original series Klingon,
I was gonna
and then
say
I
you just
started
have no
buying
makeup and say your
prosthetics.
original series.
Basically. But like by the end of it, I had the full brow ridges
Mm.
and like, oh, it was great. It is hard to play a Klingon for long though, because you blow your voice out.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you would only play a Klingon.
You've only got to be down here and gravelly.
Exactly, exactly.
So you all of your crew, as it were, the Docktails crew, are the cast that are rotating. Do you have crew behind the scenes as well? Do you have editors and anything like that? Is it
Hi.
all one man job? Yeah.
It's all a one-man job.
Yeah.
I do get some editing occasionally, help from the Green Goblin. Robin has done a little bit of editing work on some of our stuff, and I have a graphic designer. One of my players is a professional graphic designer, and
Right.
does I'd say about half of our graphic design these days.
Right.
He's gotten pretty busy, but he's set me up templates, and I've learned from him over time. So I do all
Yeah.
that, and
Nice.
I do all the editing, all the mixing. The players show up and they play, and they occasionally they show up for convention appearances and things like
Right.
that.
Right.
And my player Amy is the Discord manager, and my player Charlie is in charge of our TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's mostly me. It's mostly me, but I get a lot of help on the back
A
end
lot of help,
on
yeah.
yeah, seriously. I couldn't do it without the love and volunteer support too.
Yeah.
I've got one guy. I'm gonna shout him out. One of our moderators, a guy named Random Equinox. He is in charge of our wiki, and he and his team have single-handedly saved my butt on so many occasions because they do the most detailed wiki synopses.
Right,
And I'm
yeah.
looking at my notes, and it's like
helpful.
"sexy goblin?"
Real
question mark.
Yeah.
And they're. And I don't know
It's
if you're
certainly
very
certainly
good at
helpful to have somebody who's like taking those notes, and you can go, I apparently didn't take notes this session. I'm looking at them now, and I must have been in the moment, or I mustn't have had ideas what the hell I was doing, and I didn't write anything down. Has anybody got what happened?
Yeah, I was in a flow state. What the
Yeah.
hell was the guy's name?
And somebody goes, it was this. You mentioned him in this episode, and you go, oh, thank you, thank you, Chad.
I had a moment like that the other day where in the Wild West game, the party has picked up a drow, and there was like a drow special forces fight, and they saw that there was drow on their side, and they said something in Elven to him that really
Yeah,
and
yeah.
my players are like, well, what did they say? What was that word? You said like Shakti or something like that. I'm like, I don't know, man. I just improv
Yeah,
Elven.
yeah,
I
just
Shakti.
yeah. Some
And they're
people
like, "Oh,
do.
but it's important." I'm like,
Some people do get that way with like spells. I go, I said a verbal component to some spell, and so I just made it sound vaguely arcane.
exactly.
And they're like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
I don't fucking. It means whatever his spell was, I guess.
It means here comes the fireball.
It means
Boom
watch
goes
out.
the dynamite.
So did you when the pandemic finally, the lockdown rather, not the pandemic, but the lockdown ended, did you immediately go back to try and let's go back to the table, or were you like, actually it's really working online, let's stick with this?
It was really working, and I'll tell you why. It's for three reasons that it worked really well. Number one, we don't have a studio. I don't know what prices are like in New Zealand, but it is impossible to own. Real estate is crap these days. So we used to run in what was called living room studios, which is literally
Right,
my
yeah.
living room. We'd throw up some
Yeah,
tables and
nice.
we'd set dress.
Yeah.
And what would happen is we would broadcast at 7 p.m., but like people don't get off work until 5, maybe 6. And
Yeah.
then they'd have to drive over, and then
Yeah.
it would just be this crunch, and then you have to eat and all of that. So that would be, especially when you're running during the weeknights, it was really rough. Number two, when we started getting into costuming, then you have the issue that was number 3, which is that we only have like 1.5 bathrooms. And the line just to pee during the bio breaks would be out of this world, and then when you
Let alone to all of the time to put on the green makeup and the push-up, whatever.
Exactly. And then, but being able to have people call in from anywhere, and they've had their own bathroom, they have their own equipment,
Yeah.
and so what I started doing was I started like helping all of my team like upgrade their equipment, and we slowly, bought new microphones for everybody, and then we have like a library of microphones, like on the back end where it's like, okay, so Cat isn't in a game for the next 6 months, but Charlie is, and Charlie needs a better microphone. So we'll take Cat's mic, we'll give it to Charlie, and we'll make sure that everybody is like equipped well, and that. So we started doing that. The bathroom thing was the biggest thing, because it's time adds up, and it also means that like people could eat on their own, and it was very comfortable for them. And by that point, we had really gotten a sense of the half to quarter second delay that comes when you're role playing, right?
Yeah.
And you do miss out on a little bit of the magic of being in person, but you get really good at doing it regardless. Like the human brain is so good at adapting to things that after the pandemic, we were just like we really are on top of things, and that just decided to be like that. We just kept it that way, and we've done some in-person stuff. Like there's talk of like doing some studio stuff with a local company that rents studio space and things like that. But I don't know. Right now, this is really still working, and I really enjoy it.
Whatever it's working, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. Right?
It isn't. It's and it allows me to do.
It's the same thing as when you're doing homebrew rules. Like if you're trying to homebrew, you've got to ask yourself ultimately, what are you trying to fix? If there's nothing you're specifically trying to, if you've not got a goal in mind of like this thing isn't working for us, so I'm going to come up with this thing to fix it, then you're kind of just doing it for the sake. And it sounds like if you're in a position where you're streaming and you're making content and it's not a specific problem that keeps coming up that you think will be fixed by doing it in person, there's not really an incentive to do it in person other than you just kind of want to.
It's such a time and money commitment, right? Like to move into a studio, it's astronomical. And it's already expensive enough. Like it amazes me how expensive it is just to run a YouTube channel. Like, I think if you use like Photoshop, like Adobe just doubled their rates again. I just got an email this morning that's like, "Hey, we're doubling," and like this is the third time in 3 years you've doubled your rates, man.
Yeah, it's. People ask me sometimes, "Oh, don't you have the premium version of whatever it is, GIMP or DaVinci Resolve or whatever?" I'm like, I could, but we live in a very much a subscription model where nothing's owned anymore, and it's not that long ago in the grand scheme of things when you could have just gone, "Oh, I'm going to buy this product. I'm going to buy Microsoft Word.
Use it
now
forever.
I own Microsoft Word." No, you can't buy Microsoft Word now. You have to subscribe to Microsoft Office, which comes with all of these other programs that you're never going to use, like PowerPoint and stuff. But it's all bundled together so that they can say that it's. I don't know. It's all bundled together so that they can say, "Oh, you're getting more value for your money, and then we're going to increase the price next year, and there's nothing you can do about it because you just subscribe to it."
And then they slap AI into it.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, "Oh, great.
Nobody's asked for this. Nobody wants this, but now we can't turn it off."
Nobody wants this. You know what I like? Water. I like water. Water's pretty good.
Yeah, very much so. So you wouldn't be opposed to doing in-person stuff if there was a reason to do so, if you found nice and easy studios, but for the time being it wouldn't be solving any problem that you're having and everything's going fine as is.
Right now, all of the in-person stuff is like convention shows.
Yeah.
You know, like and those are fun because you get the whole audience feedback. And then it's theater again. I love doing stuff on stage.
Do you
it's so
do you have particular conventions that you are always like must go, must see? Do this every year?
So recently, with a lot of local ones. The one that we've been going to these days is not really even for us. It's this convention called Odafest, which is just an anime convention in Calgary. And my God, it's so fun. Like I was always like an anime convention guy back in the day. I used to run one, and like there's this like with conventions, and I'm sure you've been there, but like usually when it passes like the 2,000 to 5,000 person scale, the vibe changes.
Right.
Like you meet less people. There are hundreds of thousands of people at these things occasionally, like sometimes, but you don't make friends. Like it's so corporatized, and I love Odafest because it's like this. It's still got a small con vibe, you know, and it's got like 50,000 people at it at least. That's so
it feels
cool.
like smaller.
It's kind of like what? Did you ever go to PAX on the West Coast, like PAX Prime?
No, not yet. No, I well, obviously not now, but the PAX. I've been to PAX Australia.
PAX Australia, right?
And PAX U is the other one that I want to get to, but haven't yet.
It's so expensive to travel. Like it breaks my heart with people going, "Oh, I'm going to Gen Con. Oh, I'm going to Dragon Con." I'm like, how? That's a lot of money, guys. That's I pay Canadian dollars. They are not as good. Also, airfare in Canada.
New Zealand dollars. Hi.
Right? Exactly.
You
Well, and
think you
two,
think it's cheap? You think
God,
it's
that's better.
expensive to get airfare from Canada, coming across
Oh,
the Pacific Ocean, which is half of our planet. It's a long way from
oh
anywhere in
God.
New Zealand.
I
Every time I
bet. I
travel, I
bet.
just have to assume, like I have to just assume, oh, it's going to cost me 2 or 3 grand in flights to get to wherever, and then on top of the
Yeah.
accommodation and convention costs.
And it's and you're. I bet you're so jet lagged at that point. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
usually. I make a point
yeah.
of these days. I make a point of getting flights that arrive late at night local time, because then, regardless of what time my body's telling me,
Yeah, you
I'm
just sleep.
exhausted from traveling because
Yeah.
I can't sleep on planes, and so I'm even if it's meant to be midday, I've probably been awake for
Mm.
26 hours, and I'm like, I'm fucking. I arrive. My body's like, well, go to
Mm.
sleep. It's dark out, and we just go to sleep, and it helps immediately
I
get
bet it
into
does help. Yeah.
the system of whatever
Yeah.
the local time is.
Fair. Do you do a lot of traveling for conventions? Like outside
Yeah, I
of
try
like
to. I
the
try to. I've sworn off the states for obvious reasons for the foreseeable future, while it's currently
yeah.
what it is,
It's
which is a shame because
it's rough.
I love Gen Con. I love going to Gen Con. I'd love to go to PAX U. I'd love to visit Dragon Con. I've got a
Mm.
document of all of these conventions, including some small ones. I went to a
Mm.
convention in Utah that was a really small thing that was held
Really?
in a
That's cool.
yeah, it was a small thing held in a mall, a shopping mall, and they were specifically going for the world's largest D&D game. So it was hundreds, maybe. I think it
I
was.
heard about that.
I think it was like 200 tables or something set out throughout this entire mall, and every table had a general that was assigned to then go and meet with the other generals of the local tables, and then they would report back to this other thing, and so everybody was playing the same game of like a
Wild.
marauding army that was attacking a city. So it's like you're on the western front over here, and you're doing this thing, and the DMs were told, like, given packs of at this time when this thing is announced over the speakers. Oh, so and so has fallen. The wall has been breached, and they're like, cool, move on to this section, and so everybody's playing the same game, and they got Guinness World Record for it. But that was a lot of fun
Oh,
to go to. There's plenty
so
of
cool.
states-based conventions that I want to get to and haven't, or would want to get to even if I have,
Yeah.
and I've just kind of said not at the current climate. But that's why I started
Yeah.
looking at Canadian conventions, because I don't want to abandon my US friends and my US colleagues and my
Exactly.
US fans. I still want them to be supported and to say there's something you can come to see me. So I'm going to go to
Well,
the
there's
Fan Expo one in Toronto in August
oh
this
nice.
year.
There's also GameCon Canada in Edmonton that's
Yeah,
really blown up in the last couple of years. We're looking at potentially going to that one. I don't have anything concrete yet, but we're talking with them about doing some stuff as Dork Tales there. So hopefully that'll come
I
through
wonder
and
if that's on my.
take a look
I
at
wonder
that
if
one. It's
that's
in
on my
June,
list. In June, is it?
so it's like June 19 through 21.
I've got a spreadsheet called Nerd Conventions Around the Planet. Let's
Yeah,
see.
I have a similar spreadsheet.
June.
Yeah,
I've
I
got
think it's let me
Supernova. I've got WellyCon. Oh, interesting. That might be one that has passed me by. What was that one called? And I'll look it up
so
later.
GameCon Canada. It's June
GameCon.
19 through 21st,
Cool.
and I'll pop
GameCon
it in
Canada.
our private chat
Yeah,
there, so you have an
I'll
act.
look into that because I like to be aware of when
I've heard
certain conventions are, and because then if I travel as well, if I'm
yeah.
already wanting to go to Canada for other reasons, I can go. Is there a convention on at the same time? Because then it becomes travel
I mean,
expense.
Matthew
It's
Lillard's going to
it's
be there.
it's my business expense at that point. I go, oh yeah, that gives
Yes,
me an excuse to
everything is
go,
a
and
business expense.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel that
So
everything is a business expense.
So I don't want to monopolize your whole day, but I'm loving this conversation. So let's move to talking more present
Yeah,
day things. You
let's do it.
pandemic lockdown ended, and you stayed
Yep,
doing things online. You continued with a
yep.
focus on module work mostly. You were still doing
So
modules.
it's hit or miss. So I've talked a lot about modules being here, but so usually what happens is we've got what was supposed to be is that we'd have one module game running at a time, so that
Hmm.
we take whatever new module and we'd run that.
Yeah.
But then we started hitting stretch goals on Patreon, and it was okay. Well, then we'll do this, and then some of my team was like, "Hey, I want to run something." So it
Right.
started off with my friend Krista running. We ran Curse of Saltmarsh for a
Right.
little bit, but then it really started off with my friend Krista running Strixhaven for us. over on
Right.
our Patreon.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, when we hit this net number of people, we'll run Strixhaven. And then after Strixhaven ended, it was like, oh, okay, well, let's run Panic at the Radiant Citadel, or Journeys to the Radiant Citadel, and then Descend into Avernus, and I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. And then it just kind of like spread from there.
Was that the first time you'd gotten to be a player in a while?
Yeah, I don't get
was it the first? Yeah, and
often.
somebody else was like, "I want to run," and you're like, "Yes, yes, I want to play."
Absolutely, and I think that that's a big bonus for Patreon is that a lot of people really push those because they want to see me as a player,
right?
They want to see me make the weird choices, you know.
Yeah.
And that was a fun one. I was basically playing a homebrew race that was more or less a Kryptonian.
Okay.
And toned down, way toned down.
Yeah.
But the concept for that was
ridiculously overpowered and immune to all damage.
Powerful. No, just a couple of them. No, but it was so it's a college game, right? Strixhaven is, and the concept was, what if Clark Kent landed in Logan Paul's family's backyard and was raised by the Paul brothers, or as a Paul brother? So he was this real shithead named Kyle, right? You know, the Monster Energy drinking, social media, like
challenging people to boxing matches and just annihilating.
Just getting his jaw ripped off. It was a lot of fun playing like weird characters and like I love it. Like right now on Patreon, I'm playing a lawyer. Like that's in Descend into Avernus. I'm a lawyer. I'm a cleric of Asmodeus.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so he's a tiefling lawyer.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, right. It's like
because if anybody's proficient in legal doctrine, it would be the devils working for Asmodeus.
Right. Would you like to make a deal? That sounds wonderful.
Make sure you read the fine print.
Yes, read the fine print. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, I have usually a homebrew game of D&D that's running, usually fleshing out our multiverse and you know our history and our background. I still have the game that won't die from the beginning is still going and going. And then we do a bunch of weird stuff. Like I have a World of Darkness game. I have a Mage the Ascension game. That's a couple years ago they put out Mage the Victorian Age. So I was like, let's do it. So we have a fully costumed Mage the Victorian Age game that's been running for about 4 years now. And it's me and 4 amazing players all dressed in just the nicest like Victorian finery. Wow. Right now they're basically on the Orient Express, fighting something. I don't know. Some monster is preying on people.
Do you go op shopping for clothes shopping for Victorian stuff specific? Do you like when you're costuming, you're like, cool, we're going to be doing this. Let me go and find something, or do you just now you just have everything in your wardrobe already?
A little bit of both. For them, they definitely. Oh God, there's usually about a yearly run on corsets. In the team chats where it's like, oh, there's a big sale at a corset shop, buy one get 3 free. All right, and then all of the ladies are like, yeah, let's get corsets.
Nice.
Some of the guys
we're gonna need them for something.
Let's
get corsets. I mean, that's the thing. Like it used to be that guys would wear them as well. You got to have that figure. You know, you got to look the right way, regardless of your gender. Yeah.
And then we have one game coming up, and I've announced it a bunch of times. We've got a Fallout game because
nice.
I really want to run it, and I've got.
You a big Fallout guy?
I've got one player. I really enjoy Fallout, and I'm loving the show.
Right, like, I haven't started watching it yet.
Honestly, season 2 is the most true to game media I've ever seen.
Wow. Okay.
Like it is shocking, and even when they're going a little off the walls with some of the premises, you're like, yeah, but there are weirder side quests in Fallout. You know,
right.
But man, the visual design. Just give it a try. Season 2 is better than season 1, and it's just solid.
The only Fallout game I ever played was the mobile app one, that's Fallout Vault or whatever, and you're like just managing.
I played the hell
your
out of that
resources.
too for a while. Yeah,
I've played a lot of
that.
Yeah,
playing.
And I'm aware of the Fallout universe through that and through just part of the zeitgeist. It's a huge game, very popular. So I know of it, but I've never actually played it. So I was interested to give it a go because people were saying how good it was. Same with Last of Us. Like I technically played The Last of Us, but it just wasn't for me. I'm not really a horror guy, and I found it literally too dark. I was like squinting at the screen for a lot of it, going, "What is happening?" I'm walking through an abandoned building that's got no flickering lights, and then I'm getting attacked by something. I can't fucking see what's happening. It was just frustrating. But then I watched the TV show, and I was like, even if I don't know the game, this is fantastic. I'm really loving this.
Yeah, it's so good, especially compared to certain things. I've heard nothing but bad about the new Resident Evil movie, or not the new Resident Evil, the new Silent Hill.
Oh, okay, right.
One of my players just saw it for a podcast he does. They do movie reviews and things like that, and he's like, "Oh boy,
it's giving us a lot of content for our podcast, at least."
Yeah, because people love the hate episodes.
Yeah, I used to have an anime podcast with some friends because I knew nothing. The premise was I knew nothing about anime, never grew up watching it, didn't know anything, barely knew any Dragon Ball Z characters.
So they threw you into JoJo immediately?
My friend, not quite JoJo, but my friend was a full-on weeb and was like, "Okay, we're gonna do a podcast. We called it 'Keep Your Friends Close and Your Animes Closer," and it was just he would introduce me to weeb culture and then every week I had homework to go and watch a few more episodes of a thing, and then we'd talk about it. We started with Dragon Ball Z Kai, the cut down version, and even then I was like, nothing. We did 3 episodes where Frieza's just screaming, and my mate's like, yeah, and this is the cut down version. We would come home from school expecting the new episode, and it would just be another one of screaming, and it'd be like 9 weeks of Frieza screaming and leveling up, powering up a spirit bomb or something. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Right. Having a podcast, you just love to hate them. You find those episodes where you go, "This is terrible," but at least we can talk 100%. About it.
Exactly. I'm trying to think what we were talking about. Fallout. We were talking about.
You were talking about how your friend had a podcast that talked about Silent Hill and how bad that was, and the adaptation, the faithful adaptation about
that's right.
Last of Us.
I was talking about costuming and stuff. But one of the fun things about that is that some of my players are VTubers. So we've got one person who's going to be playing, like, you won't know what this is, but a Mr. Handy, like one of the robots with like the little floating balls.
Yes, with the arms.
So they've rigged up a VTube model of Mr. Handy.
That's cool.
Or whatever the nurse one is. And it's going to be so much fun to see. I can't wait for that. It's going to be hilarious. But it'll be a lot of fun.
When are you hoping to get that out? When are you hoping to start doing it?
Oh God. So that one's going to be pre-recorded because I've got to do a bunch of editing to make it work. But we're theoretically starting filming next month. With luck.
Fingers crossed. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. At least that kind of content is like it can sit in a vault for a little.
Nice.
But it can sit in a vault for a little while, and it's still going to be just as topical. Everybody loves Fallout.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But we've got tons of, honestly, like I would say probably like half my wardrobe is costuming stuff right now. Like just or is costume adjacent, or I buy it with the idea of like, this could be costume. Then it's a business expense too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Get a biker jacket, be like, and then you reuse stuff. Like I've got like a biker jacket I was going to run a Terminator game, and I was like, I'm going to run this as the Terminator. You know, like, I got the prosthetic eye.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have
then you're walking down the hall. Maybe not like that, but and what I really want to do is I want to run a Marvel tabletop game. Like I want to run a superhero game, and I want to run it as Doctor Doom because I've been playing a lot of Rivals. You know.
Yeah.
And
the full metal mask sort of type, or you need...
I totally didn't buy that when it got released a couple months ago.
Because the problem is, like, so cool. you go, this would be amazing, but I'm going to lose a lot of facial expression and people who, obviously, if you've got subtitles, not as much of an issue, but people who are hard of hearing often need to be able to see what you're saying. Sure. So, like, is the microphone going to pick up? Is it going to muffle my audio? Because the other thing is, people will forgive a lot more than they forgive audio. If you've got bad audio, they are muffled or echoey or whatever, you're gonna.
That is the first thing I say to people who are starting out. I'm like, don't worry about
good
the
audio. Good audio is much better than
like,
good video and even good content to a degree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So having prosthetics and masks. This is great. is it going to affect the quality of people being able to watch it? Is it something that I put on at the beginning and welcome to the Marvel blah blah blah, and here's the exposition, and then I take it off for actually doing it? Or underneath it, you've painted your face to look like the mask, so that when you take it off, you're like, this is the mask. When somebody raids in, you can go, oh, we've got a raid, let me put the mask on, and I'm Dr. Doom, and then you can take it off. Or you do a Batman version where you take the bottom of the mask off so that you can still be heard and people can see.
The Batman version would be much easier. Plus, I'd get to wear like all sorts of mascara. Like my eyes would look great.
Yeah, for sure. I loved in the Robert Pattinson Batman that it was the first time that they really acknowledged what he would look like when he takes the mask off and he'd still have all the black. Because in all the other ones, George Clooney and everything, they've got absolute black eyes, and then they peel it off and there's just nothing. Like, then why didn't we see your eyes? In Robert Pattinson, he's just got that like drippy emo makeup.
Man, he looked good with it on. He looks like a young Robert Smith. Like he's rocking it.
It worked.
It's so good. I love the costuming. I love telling stories, man. Like
it's great, isn't it?
I love that there are a few things better than seeing the look on your player's face when that twist hits, or when that thing hits, or when that callback comes, and then looking over. So you see your players do it, and then you look over at the chat, and then there's an explosion in the chat.
Oh my god! People speculating things.
This is why I'm alive.
I find a lot of joy in the Viva work because the Viva guys, because the nature of how we play, they're comedians first, they're sketch artists first. I'm the DM obsessed, I'm the Dungeons and Dragons obsessed guy who's running the game, but they're focused on, this is half-hour content that we're making. This is like something's funny's happening, and so they're not as focused on being good D&D players, taking stringent notes and paying attention to this and this and this. And so the people in the chat. People in the comments section on YouTube will often pick up on stuff that I've said before the players do, and so people will go, "Oh my god, when are they going to realize that Rob hinted at this happening?" Or Rob just offhand mentioned the fact that somebody was creating an army in the background, and none of them asked him questions about it. When's that going to come back? And all of this stuff. It's always fun.
It's so much fun,
especially speculation.
And you have to, especially like in a live chat where if the players have access to the chat, you have to be like, "Stop it." They haven't figured it out yet. They don't know that's actually the villain.
Don't tell them. They might watch this. Don't see it. Don't mention it.
Don't tell them. Yeah. Well, especially because we're not filming in a studio, so like a lot of times the players, sometimes the players are moderators, so they do have the chat up, and then they're like, "Oh man," or put them like, especially in a module.
Oh, it's just occurred to me and me alone, just off the top of my head, that this might be the case. Maybe I'll ask about this, and you're like, did you read the chat? No. But answer the question, DM. Does his accent sound vaguely familiar?
No, he actually has a Scottish accent. He sounds like Sean Connery. Hello, how are you doing?
Sean Connery. Did you?
Good day,
So you've got how many projects currently on the go? Currently open?
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Okay, so presently running. I'll just do a look at what I have this month. So where's my
snapshot in the day in the life of Dork Tales? What are you currently looking at?
Tonight we have Storm King's Thunder, Storm King's Panic. Then tomorrow we have Cold Iron, which is our Western D&D epic. Then on Monday over on Patreon we have Technocracy Dominion, which is a Mage of the Ascension game that is like my version of Succession.
Okay.
And it's all about people. It's literally just a family of head billionaire Nepo baby magic users trying to seize control of a media company. Then on Wednesday we've got the Shards of Nirn, our longest running game, one in the library where they're about to fight dragons and stuff. Then on Thursday, there's a Hunter the Reckoning game that my friend is running, and we're probably all going to die. Then on Friday, we have the premiere of a brand new Vampire the Masquerade game we're running. Then I have a couple days off because we're skipping a weekend.
I was about to say, you almost made it to an entire week. You almost made it an entire week.
Man, the older I get, the more I need a buffer day. Then we've got the next week we've got Descent to Avernus on Tuesday. We have our Victorian era Mage game on Wednesday. Then we've got a couple of repeats, and then we have a new feature that's coming in It just launched in January, and it's called Filler Episode. It's a monthly episode of a random indie game that
Right,
is
love it.
hosted by my friend Charlie, and it's like it's a good way to like try out indie systems. We tried this one
Mm.
last month called Slug Blaster, which is
Oh, okay.
like
Don't know that one.
it's 1990s Canadian skateboarding character, like your skateboarding kids in the late 90s, like from like the
Yeah.
Go-Gurt commercials and like
Mm.
ooh Sunny D. But you've also got portal guns, and it's like it was weird. It was a weird game. I think next month we're doing, what are we doing next month? It's something cool.
Jeez, this is so
Charlotte's gonna be
much.
screaming at me
Good
for
lord.
months. It's so much. Next month we're doing Thirsty Sword Lesbians,
Nice.
because it's such a good game.
Yeah.
I have to sit
It's
that
fun.
one out because I am neither thirsty nor lesbian enough for the game. But thankfully, we're importing
I
lesbians
mean,
for it.
I was in one. I just was like, cool. We're acknowledging up front that I'm cis het white man, but I'm playing a thirsty sword lesbian today.
I'm sure you were plenty thirsty.
I was plenty thirsty. I was plenty thirsty,
Yes,
plenty
you're taking
sword,
a
and
drink.
plenty lesbian. Yeah, it was a fun character. So
Okay,
you've got a lot going on currently, presently.
a lot going on.
Well, I want to ask you about
Yeah,
future goals and like blue sky projects and things, but I just want to remind people
yeah.
before we get into that, if you have questions for me or Kelly, you can ask them as part of the channel point redemptions. Nice and easy. It's just 50 channel points. You've got those by now if you've been watching the stream. Just it's a way of not missing it as the chat goes by, because I appreciate that I
Yep.
spend most of my time focused on my guest here during short rests,
I
and it's
appreciate
easy
it.
for me to miss questions. So ask away, and we will answer those in a moment.
Yeah, I'll answer damn near anything. So go ahead.
So future projects, what are you working towards, and what would you love for Dork Tales to become eventually?
So my goal for 2026 is to pare down our content window a little bit to kind of refocus us on a few more. I want to focus our projects to be a little more. I want to run a little less, and I want to put a little more
Smart.
time into making sure that everything is polished to the degree that I really wish it was.
Right.
I find that having so much content means that I'm often scrambling to try to make sure that everything is planned to my liking because I'm a
Right.
perfectionist, as I'm
Yeah.
sure you are as well. Like
Mm.
every little, you can only write rules for so many hours a day. I want to do
Yeah.
more. I want to do more publication. I want to do more like Dork Tales. I've been threatening to do a Dork Tales, like a homebrew world setting book for a
Right.
while,
Right. Right.
or maybe some module writing for people. So I want to help people tell their own stories, and I want
Mm.
to kind of share that with them. Besides that, grand scheme for the blue sky future, I would love to keep this going as long as people like it. I would love for our audience to mature with us and for us to tell stories that are that people remember. That was the reason I got into this
Mm-hmm.
actually, is because for the longest time, like I have so many amazing stories that have been told between me and my players over the years, and I love it. I love being able to have those war stories with your friends. But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
friends, they come and go, and life changes, and
Mm-hmm.
it would be so nice to have a record of that. And that's what
Right.
Dork
Right.
Tales gets to be. It gets to be a
Yeah.
time capsule, so that in like 20 years, my kids can go back and look at what their weird dad was doing,
Yeah.
in his 30s and 40s,
Yeah.
and I think that's so cool. I think that's amazing that we get to have that right now, and we've never been able to have that really in any
No.
other period of history.
No,
You know?
there was the introduction of photographs not that long ago in the grand scheme of things, and so you go,
Yeah,
oh, we can look back on what our great grandparents looked like, maybe, but that's about it, and only if one of the photographs actually survived, and if a photograph had been taken of them,
yeah,
and now we can like people who come hundreds of years later not only get to see what that person looked like, they get to see how they sounded and what they act like, and there's news articles and there's video footage and there's there's content
it's
that they can go,
it's
oh,
wild.
this is who my great granddad was as a person, this is the sort of things that he stood up for and believed in, and this is the stories he told, and yeah,
It's
it's
amazing,
a
and I
interesting
want to do that.
time.
I want to keep telling stories, and I'll keep making people happy, and making the world a better place. And that sounds really lofty and weird, but I want to keep doing what
I
we're
try
doing,
to
and
live
just on a
by
bigger
the
scale.
idea that you should just, it's a much more achievable goal, if you just think of it as like, I want to go to bed tonight having made the world a better place than it was when I started. And if you've
Yeah.
only given yourself a day to do it, then you are limiting what you can do that day. You're like, okay, I'm not putting the pressure on myself to combat
That's a good idea.
fascism today, but
Yeah.
I am giving myself a much achievable goal of, did I make somebody happy today? Did I ease somebody's concern about
Those have
something
been
today? Did I give somebody a joyous moment? Did I make somebody smile? Did I help somebody out? Did my money contribute to some charity that's doing good? You can look at these smaller things, these smaller day-to-day things, and go, is the world a better place for having me in it today? And as long as it's not a worse place for having me in it, then I think I'm doing okay.
I think you're doing a pretty good job.
Thank you. Well, let's see what questions have been coming in from the audience, and we'll see how this goes. Let's see. Rudolph9689 asks, using the food analogy, does that mean the girls are based off market value and fluctuate depending on supply and demand? We were way back 2 hours ago. We were talking about the
we're talking about the fantasy
services
prostitution?
and the prostitution.
Well, I mean, not just girls, guys too. But like, I think anything is supply and demand, really. I think absolutely there, especially like if you know anything about like the American West, there was a very small supply of eligible women out here for the longest time, and like that's how you got like mail order brides and all of the like prison brides coming out here. So I think absolutely there absolutely is like a sliding scale.
I keep
And of course,
I keep a god of value essentially in one of my in my world. One of my major gods is the god of ownership and possessions and envy and territory and value essentially, and the money is all stamped with his symbol and things, because that way you can avoid some of the implications from world building of going, the diamond to resurrect somebody has to be worth 300 gold pieces. So if I just get the tiniest fleck of diamond worth a single gold, but then I sell it to my friend for 300 gold, that diamond's now worth 300 gold, because things are only worth what somebody's willing to buy it for, and like the market can be tanked up or down, and so the value of I bought this diamond for 300 gold, but I bought it at the start of the campaign, and inflation's happened since. Is it still worth 300 gold? With having a god who's going, I'm the one who sets what actual value is. I can just always say whether or not something is worth this or not. And yes, somebody who's willing to pay for it, but it doesn't mean it's worth it, because whether it's worth it or not is the god's decision.
You've had to shut down some real punk players, haven't you?
Most of this hasn't even happened in my games. It's just me noticing loopholes with how my brain works, and then going, if this was a problem, I want to answer this for myself. Most of it's my own punk brain going, yeah, but technically, what if this though? And what are the implications of that? And if I've introduced this into the world,
that internal contrarian.
Yeah, and I go, well, technically that means that I need to be accounting for this, this, and this. Okay, so now my world building goes in that direction, and I end up doing that stuff. So yeah, the market value of what things are worth is all related to that. I've also got a faction that stops wizards from doing bullshit with magic, where you can turn a stone into an elephant and then turn the elephant into a gold statue, and now you've got a shit ton of gold. And so there's a faction in my world who are keeping a track of that stuff and going, you can't do that. That fucks up the market. And they go around and slap you on the wrist. Tiamadud asks, what was your favorite book growing up?
Depends what age of growing up. God, I remember being there are tons throughout time. A lot of comic books when I was a kid. I remember being briefly obsessed with Hatchet by Gary Paulson when I was in elementary school. Dragonlance, Dragons of Autumn Twilight was a huge influence. And then after that, a lot of the works of David Gemmell, fantasy author from Britain, and wrote a lot of heroic fantasy, and really affected me, and really was the deciding factor of becoming a writer, was starting to read his books and reading Quest for Lost Heroes. I think was the first one I read of his, and that really, really spoke to me.
Nice.
Yeah, that was very, very sad to find out when he passed, because it was always that dream to like go and meet and like to expressing like what an impact. And then I
Yeah.
remember being in a bookstore and picking up a book and it had his wife's name on it as well. And I'm like,
Right.
that's weird. He doesn't write with anybody else. And I flipped to the back and it was like, oh, and I
He was
had like a
writing this, and
breakdown in a
it was
bookstore.
finished. Oh man.
Oh man,
So
it was rough.
did his was he in the middle of a huge series and he never got to finish it, or was it
He
just that one book that
he
his wife had to finish?
he was in the middle of a trilogy of rewriting the Iliad.
Oh
So he
wow.
was retelling the Trojan War, and he died in the first or second book. I own the book. I
Right.
have not read it. It's one of
Oh
those things
okay.
like I refuse to read it. You know, like
Yeah, I get that.
he's not dead if I
He's
don't
not
read
dead. Well,
that
if
book.
yeah, well, if you've not read it, it's not true. Yeah,
And
he's still
yeah, so I
alive. He's
still have
still
that book
out
on my
there. There's
shelf
still
somewhere.
content from him that you haven't read. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Tina asks, do you have any particular childhood memory that you can point to that truly inspires your love of storytelling? He kind of touched on that just then. But is there any other thing that inspired storytelling more than just writing per se?
Yeah, my mom. My
Yeah.
mom was always wanted to be a writer, and when we were traveling around and like living in like Germany and Holland and France when I was growing up, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's hard to get a hold of other kids, and it's we were often living off of military base,
Right.
so my mom was oftentimes like my best friend, and she would always used to like we'd always like play games. We'd go out into the woods and play Indiana Jones adventures, and
Nice.
and all and stuff like that. And it was and so those type of collaborative storytelling
Mm.
games, or just being sat down in front of a TV to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark for the 5,000th time or something, you just absorb it, and and really starting to respect the nature of a good story.
Yeah.
So
You got
I guess
siblings or
I
no?
guess being I have an older brother. He's about 7 years older than me, so he was like
Oh,
he's a
big
half
age
brother,
gap.
so he was like yeah, and he was
Yeah.
like he would live stateside with his mom, and then he'd come and stay with us for a bit.
Yeah.
So I'm like an only child with benefits.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like
Yeah,
yeah,
for
but
some situations and circumstances, yeah, you got a brother. Others, it's like I was raised an only child.
practically not. Yeah,
Uh,
I get to be an uncle, and that's about the
yeah,
benefit
yeah.
of it, right?
Uncle's great though because you get to have
Oh God.
all of the benefits and then just give the kid back. Cool.
It's like
Stuff
it's
him
like
full
it's
of
like having a
sugar
friend
and
with a really
send
cool
him back.
dog. You're like,
Yeah,
hey, you get to play with the dog. I don't have to clean up his poop. All right, cool.
and then go back. Yeah, I don't need to train them.
Cool.
Do you remember your
Yeah.
very first TTRPG character?
My first tabletop. Oh God, I don't remember the one from the Vampire the Masquerade game that was over the phone. I remember he was a Lasombra of some kind, the Shadow Clan.
Right.
But my first one that I remember was a half elf adept in Shadowrun named Seven, who was like the backstory was like he was like a clone or something like that.
Hmm.
He was okay. My first real one was this Cult of Ecstasy Mage the Ascension guy who was basically like me with better stats. Because I think your first character often is, right? Like,
always
oh yeah, let's get that
hit
appearance
self-insert.
score up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at 19, man. But yeah, that was a lot of
I think
fun.
my first Shadowrun was half elf adept as well. I've only played one game of Shadowrun at a convention on stream once, and I can't remember exactly what I played, but I think it was
So many dice.
so many, which is great if
So
you
many
love
D6.
the feeling of it all, but otherwise it can be overwhelming to go. God damn, how many am I rolling and why and what am I looking for? And thankfully, it's just
Never play
roll
Exalted.
them all, but then
Never play Exalted in that case then, because it's
oh yeah,
just D10s then, and you're like, oh god, oh, yeah, hundreds of
even
dice.
more.
Just you can't run that on stream. Like it just the audio alone would just oh,
Yeah.
sounds like an ice machine.
Tia Madrid asks, if money wasn't an issue, what would be your ideal location or setting for a TTRPG, for like a convention, let's say? Because you'd go full out on the
I mean,
setting, the background, the costume, the makeup. What would be a great setting
oh
for
man,
it?
well I've got a couple. I would say that like for one, D&D in a castle or something like that. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's always like top tier. Um, okay, so running my Mage the Ascension Victorian era game on on an Orient Express train would be
Oh
pretty
yeah.
great. But I also would love to run like a gothic horror or or a vampire game or something like that, either in the catacombs underneath Paris,
Right.
or in Dracula's in Brom Castle,
Yeah, right. In Brum Castle.
right?
Yeah, for
Everybody wants
sure.
to go to Dracula's
Yeah.
castle.
I'm
I think
I'm
those would be
lucky
really
enough that
good.
they've TTRPG in the Jungle has reached out and we've arranged for me to be a DM for that. So
Sure.
I'm going to be flown out to Peru
Where,
in September.
I was about to say that's the one in Peru, right?
Yeah, Peru, the Amazon
That's
jungle. There's
dope.
just a purpose-built little gaming room that looks like a little fort with a fire-breathing dragon statue on top of it. And yeah, it's
That's cool.
just a week,
I saw some
week in
stuff
the
when they
jungle.
first started, but hey, put in a good word for.
Oh, for sure.
We'll go next
He's
year.
been asking
Love to
me
go to
like
Peru.
who else is around that'd be interested, and I've sent him a few. I basically just sent him my
I can
short
fly
rest
right
list. I
over
was
the
like,
states. I can fly
yeah, just hop, bunny hop. I said, yeah,
yeah.
it's why I'm going to the convention in Toronto in August, because from New Zealand, as soon as you set off anywhere, you're out of New Zealand now. You might as well make the most of it, and so
You might
it's
as well,
just as
yeah.
viable a travel move for me to go to the UK and see my nephews, and then go to Canada, and then go to Peru, and then back to New Zealand. I'm like, yeah, I'm out of the country anyway. Everywhere's just as
Yeah, you're
as close as coming back here.
yeah, fair.
So yeah, I'm going to
That'd be
that,
dope.
which is very exciting too. But yeah, anything where you're immersing you and your players in the surrounding of what you're doing. I don't know what I'm going to be running for those yet, but it'll be fun to come up with the ideas and go, oh, I'll probably hit them with some owlbears and some dinosaurs, and so I'll get inspiration from
Yeah, you gotta have
the
dinosaurs.
Chul maybe, and the tree blights and shambling mounds, and we'll make some yuan tea or something. Make it all jungle
Oh
themed.
yeah,
It'll be fun.
absolutely.
Or
should-
I go right. We're in an Arctic encounter. And we're doing a tundra thing, and we're all
You should do a
sitting there
reverse Indiana
sweating.
Jones.
Oh yeah,
Do a reverse Indiana Jones story where they have to like smuggle a relic back into a sacred temple
back into a
while being
sacred
pursued
temple.
by colonialists.
That would be fantastic. A heist where they have to heist the British Museum and steal their shit back,
Oh,
take
man.
it back to where it came from. That would be pretty funny.
That would be great.
Tina asks, "What's your blue sky version of the next 10 years?" We kind of asked that already. So
Get over that.
Nerdwitch asks, as a fellow costumes as wardrobe person, what's your favorite costume or wardrobe piece?
My favorite costume or wardrobe piece is a red leather jacket that I wore for my Strixhaven game. Because I was only wearing because it was Superman inspired, so everything was like bright blue or bright red,
Right.
and it was this. It's like it's the type of thing that like Michael Jackson or Matt Pat would wear, like one of
Right.
those like bright glowing red leather.
Yeah.
Oh god, I love it so much. It's so cool.
Did you find it in a thrift store or something? Was that a hand me
No, I
down?
found it on Amazon. I found it
Right.
on Amazon of all places, but
Yeah.
like it was from one of those weird, sketchy third-party sellers that you're like, oh, bad or good.
Is this gonna
And
turn up?
it looks so cool. It's so rad. I love it so much.
What have you worn it for?
I've worn it for Strixhaven, and that's about it so far.
Was
It's
it just Strix 7? You
whenever
like,
I
you need to
open my
find some
closet-
other reason to use it, or does
So I
it
guess
stay
the
as
other-
the
the
Strix
other
7
one-
thing?
The other one that I have done that I absolutely hate, but it is the most fun, is that my friend Krista made me a Dungeon Master costume. I only bring it out for special occasions, but it's the cartoon Dungeon Master.
Yeah.
I got like a bald wig that
A
goes
bald cap,
with it.
yeah.
And, hello. Oh god, it looks horrible, but you know what? It makes people laugh, so
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Love it.
I do love that.
Last question came in from
that's what I'm
Zippy Zoo. What is a TTRPG system that you've never played but you want to try?
Ooh, never played, but want to try. I've heard really good things about some of the Warhammer ones, and I've played so many different systems. I would say game that I want to try.
Have you ever played 10 Candles?
I have. I played it once, and it was really, really great.
It's good.
Have
you played
Dread is
Dread?
another one I've looked at.
Yeah.
I think it's called Dread.
Dread,
And
the
then
Django one. Yeah.
there's the Bleakness, I think, is another one that I've
Bleakness
looked
is that
at.
one I know.
Like, yeah, a lot of horror games are really high on my list for that. And then I would say, God, what games do I have on my shelf? I'm really interested in games like the Triangle Agency, which I own a copy of, but have never had a
don't
chance
know
to
that one.
play.
What is
It's
the Triangle
kind of like
Agency?
it reminds me of. Do you ever the video game Control?
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of like Control.
Right.
like that type of like.
It's weird. It's weird that the name is so good that I was like, I bet that this is about sort of an SCP agency that's controlling weird stuff.
Yeah, something like that would be really
something
cool.
about triangle agency. Just maybe it's the Bermuda Triangle, and just the word agency also immediately evokes
I don't have to look. I'm gonna have to remind myself what it is, but it's on my shelf, and I keep looking at it and being like, And then also Dragonbane, because you get to play ducks. There's a race called the I think it's the mallard, but I can't. They're the mallard, right? The mallard.
Nice.
I really want to play a duck person. I really want to play a duck person.
You should play some werewolves. Have you heard of that one? It's a one-page RPG called Werewolves, where you're just playing as children who turn into dogs at inopportune moments. It's really good. It's by a fantastic it's by a fantastic author and writer. What's his name? Does anybody in the chat remember who wrote Werewolves? It was Robert Hartley, GM. He wrote a one-page RPG.
Did you?
Yeah,
Werewolves.
Yeah, I did.
I probably should play that.
It came from just the pun of werewolves with an apostrophe. We are wolves, and you're all playing as kids who have it's a one-page RPG where you roll a d6 to determine what type of child you are. You're the sporty kid, you're the music kid, you're the creative kid, and then you roll a d6 to see what type of dog you turn into. You're a were-chihuahua, you're a were-Great Dane, you're a were-husky.
You want to come run that for a filler episode one time?
Hell yeah, let's do it. Let's have me on for it. That'd be great.
No.
And then you roll a d6 to determine what your trigger is. So maybe it's the smell of bacon, or maybe it's when somebody insults you, or when something else. And so you just end up turning into these things, and it's just it's fun and bizarre and just a very silly system. And then you have a success fail rating that, like, every time you succeed, it becomes more likely that you're going to fail the next one, and every time you fail, it becomes more likely you're going to succeed the next one. So it's like a self-balancing thing. But
I've already got some of my players in the chat right now saying that they want to play that. So yeah,
nice.
You're stuck.
Yeah, mate. I'd love it. Let's bring me on.
Yeah, that'd be great. So long as and because it's not like our time zones actually sync up surprisingly well.
Yeah, not too bad. We're a day apart, but only like 3 or 4 hours difference between us, right? With the Pacific Coast.
Yeah, it's like basically like I'm on the East Coast of
Yeah, I'm like 20, I think, 20 hours ahead of maybe. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah, it's like what, noon for you?
11:37. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm 3 hours ahead of you yesterday,
but a day behind.
yeah. I'm a day behind everybody.
I'd love to come and check it out for sure. So people should definitely go and check out Dork Tales if you haven't, because you'll see me on there at some point in the not too distant future, hopefully.
Please do.
We'll start to wrap up. Have a think if there's anybody on Twitch that you would love to raid, because I always love to give it the option to my guest if there's anybody online that you want to send us to. In the meantime, I'll say if you are here from Dork Tales community and this is the first you're seeing of me, I'm Robert Hartley, GM. I am a full-time Dungeons & Dragons content creator. I'm most known for being the DM for a comedy group called Viva La Dirt League, so you should check them out as well. We've got on-running campaigns for several years now, and it's a lot of fun. We usually aim for like half-hour content with some green screen cutaways of the things that are happening at the table. Keeps it nice and easy and bingeable and digestible on a work break, rather than long episodes that are hard to keep up with. So yeah, check me out. And then you've got all sorts of content that I do here, Robert Reads and Short Rests, and you can find all of this as playlists on my channel. And as I said before, we've got a Twitch Tales series, which is where you're hive mind controlling the actions of a player, so you can join in one of those and you are straight up playing along with me. So if you like this stuff, make sure to follow. And if you're here from my community, definitely check out Dork Tales. You can see the link to it. You can see the link to it below here. I believe
you type in Dork Tales. There's only 2 Dork Tales online. One is there's there's 3. There's some podcast that's like a Dork Tales story time. There's a French webcomic from back in the day. Right. I don't think it's still updated. But then there's us. Go see Dork Tales. YouTube.com.
And you can see it. I've just put a link in the chat there. It's the link tree is just Dork Tales. So if you search link tree for Dork Tales, you'll find them there as well. And as you can see below me, there is a current dice backer kit thing going with the new dice set. Can you tell us anything about your new dice set to sort of promote it and show it off?
Oh my God, I'm so excited about that. So we have, we're starting off with a full 11 set of like Dork Tales colors, so kind of like that weird like salmon red that you can see on my logo.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be custom made. And then we've got like stretch goals for like this really fancy like porcelain D10 set that kind of fits like the Victorian era vibe, and and then like ones with like special logos, and we've got coins and familiars.
Wow.
I'm really trying to get our I don't know, we're working with Bookworm Games to make this. I'm really trying to get the guys from Bookworm Games to make me like a portable, not Vecna, like 3D print that you can, because I don't know, there was this joke about smacking Vecna with his own dismembered hand, because just beat him with his own hand. But I kind of want like a 3D printed one you can just wiggle around and make bone noises, kind of like one of those like clap sticks.
So you know how you're saying you're trying to like pare things back and be more achievable with the time goals. Like, but I also want to do this and this and this and this.
But I also
the ADHD is hard
ADHD for you.
Yeah, no.
It's ADHD is my fuel. It's my fire. But it's just there's so many cool things that we're working on for that. And I'm really excited about those dice, though. It's going to be great. We have my favorite thing is going to be we're going to have a cast coin that's like Dork Tales and Dork Fails, and it's going to be
I love it.
So good. It's going to be so good.
Great, love that.
But
D2.
Yeah, so D2, it's so good. But yeah, that's going to be really great. And then so many good things just coming on the channel soon. We're going to be running. We haven't done a new module in a while, so we're doing Dragon Delves, and we're doing it with starting in March with a different DM for every one of the games. So each chapter is going to be a different DM, and we've got some really amazing people coming over to do that. Yeah.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, who are we raiding into?
Do you prefer D&D content, or?
Yeah, I mean, if there's someone online that you follow for D&D content, we'll raid into them. But otherwise, whoever you want, it's your choice to direct the raid.
We can raid one of my. So I'll give you two choices. My player and dear friend Bunny Hearted is streaming retro Final Fantasy something. Or we could go raid some tabletop players.
Let's raid Bunny. No, if
so it's
a player that people would see in the Dork Tales world. And we want to support them.
She's amazing. Like, if you like tabletop stuff and you like video games, like, they are the VTuber to follow.
Excellent. And it's Bunny Hearted, just as you'd expect it to be spelled, no spaces. Cool.
Exactly.
We'll raid into Bunny Hearted then. As we are wrapping up the short rest, I guess we've got our spell slots back if we're warlocks. We've rolled some hit dice. What's the mission that we're continuing on? We've just been assaulted by German rappers, and now we're heading off on some other mission.
It's time to complete the rap battle.
We're ready for it. We've written down some lyrics during this short rest, and we're going to go out and
dope rhymes.
try our best.
We are ready.
The DM said, all right, with the practice you've done during the short rest, you get a bardic inspiration. Each that you can use is this, and now you go out and do the performance check to see if we can beat these rappers. Love it.
And I'm going to rhyme some stuff with orange. Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you very much for joining me, Kelly. It's been fantastic. Thank you guys for watching as well, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye for now. Well, thank you very much for hanging out around the campfire for this short rest. Don't forget to check out Dork Tales and all the links that we mentioned, and I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe and do all those things we ask you to do. Thank you.